It didn't start yet.
It's live.
And we are here. Good
And we're
evening,
live.
everybody.
Hello. Saturday night.
That's right.
Ultramax, Ultra Live.
I know we still haven't come up with an official name. We gotta
did
figure
you
that out
see?
one of these days.
I put something in the Discord. Oh gosh, now I can't even remember what I just said. It was pretty clever. The Reasonable Doubters.
The Reasonable Doubters?
Yeah.
Might get sued by Jay-Z for that one. I don't know.
Does he have a
That was his
like
the Reasonable Doubt was the name of his debut album. It was a classic.
Oh, okay, but he doesn't. Yeah, but he doesn't have a stream called The Reasonable Doubters.
That is true. That is very true. So
Yeah.
how is everybody doing tonight? And don't worry, guys. Danks is going to be with us very shortly. He's just getting himself situated. He's on the road again.
Yes, he is. He's a trooper. I'm like, Danks, man, you spend a lot of time on the road in the hotels.
Well, listen,
a man on a mission.
He's a smart man. He's a family man.
He is.
No, if you're going to commit to, you can't commit to doing a Saturday night show when you've already committed to a wife. That could be very, very tough at times. You know, it's always family first.
Yes, well, it's great to see everyone here. Yes, we are.
Speaking of weekend commitments, I think I briefly told you because we didn't really have that much time. We haven't really spoke this week, but I know the people know that I have committed to a Friday night midnight show. I went live last night at midnight, and it actually went really, really good. Up, it says audio. Yo, why is this person saying Nosy? I see you. You pulled that last night. Saying audio off.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, no, it's the same person, but they said it wasn't a prank yesterday, so maybe they're having some issues with their device.
Oh, maybe they just like watching you even with the audio off. So you were saying you did a late night stream last night?
Yeah, and everybody was saying that I got to commit to do it every Friday night, so I told them I would.
Good. I had an interesting week. I started out with my little one, my 7-year-old, breaking his arm.
That's not interesting. That sucks. How's he doing? Is he okay?
He's good. He is in a massive cast now that starts about up here and is all the way here. It's huge on his little body because he weighs like 50 pounds.
Damn.
And it's thick. It is big. It is so big. But so he broke his elbow. While he was over at his dad's. And trampolines, they're no good, especially when apparently you were under a trampoline and your brother jumps on top of you and no one is watching. So
yeah, everybody thought I was crazy last year when I said I was going to put the trampoline next to my pool for the kids. Like, why would you tease them like that? And I'm like, I'm serious. They're like, you can't do that. So what do you mean I can't do that? It's my house, my trampoline, my pool, my kids. So then, of course,
yeah. Well, then you'll be responsible for taking them to the ER and everything else.
Yes. And then the next time that we had like, a family barbecue with everybody over with their kids, it's like, a couple of people giving me dirty looks. It's like, damn, now I got to have my kids jumping on, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. So that was a whole ordeal. But we also, despite little man's injury, he was such a trooper. He went I took him straight from getting his x-rays to WWE.
That
because he and his brother wanted to go to WWE.
And that was Monday Night
So
Raw, right?
that was Monday Night Raw.
And
Yeah.
that
So that
that
was before he had a cast on. He was just in his sling. So he was trying to just like walk around everywhere in this little cloth sling. And he was living, he
now,
was
when
living
is
it up.
WrestleMania? Is it this weekend or next weekend? I
Next
know it's
weekend.
coming up
Next
next
weekend.
weekend.
Next weekend in Vegas.
That's
Anybody in
awesome.
the chat into WWE? So the reason why I bring up WWE is because I got to tell you, I noticed a whole lot of parallels between what I feel like we're seeing in the Tyler Robinson case and the WWE extravaganza, the way people get on the mic and they are larger than life and they're going to tell you that they know everything and you know nothing. And they're going to put on a show and you're going to look over here and don't look over there. Okay. Because they really don't want you to see what's going on over there. It is all smoke and mirrors, my friends.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of smoke and mirrors, not just
Uh-huh.
with the Charlie Kirk case though, but that's politics in general.
It is. It is. But since I was just thinking that our stream is focusing heavily on Tyler and Charlie tonight, it would be a nice little parallel to draw.
Yeah. But this has been a big week with the Tyler Robinson case. It's funny. We always call it the Charlie Kirk case, but the reality is it's the Tyler Robinson.
The Tyler case. Mm-hmm.
It's a case that probably should not be going on. It probably should have never been going on. And the big question now, which is also the theme of the show, the title of the show is this case going to make it to trial? What do you think, Kelly?
Well, you know what? Now, actually, oh, wait, I guess because you're running the stream, you would have to do it because I don't have the producer capabilities. But if you wanted to, if you want to try to
Well,
stretch your
you got a clip. You can. I could do that. I could set
producer
it up.
ability.
No, how do
Well,
I set it up so that you could do a clip? Don't you put something on the stage and I just got to share it?
no. I think it's because, it's from your tools that are on the side. Basically, there's a widget. Now, if you click widgets on the side, we could put up a poll.
Oh, okay. There we
Yeah.
go. I'm at the polls. I actually just figured out how to set up polls yesterday on YouTube Studio. I never knew how to do it. I didn't know that it was like, I probably should have checked like the little buttons right next to the chat. It would have made sense, but I was always looking at the top. And then like I never really had an interest, so I didn't care. But then last night they were pretty adamant. They wanted a poll. And then, they're like, why don't you do it? And then after all these months of going live, I had to come clean and tell them I don't know how. They were baffled. But I tell them, I listen, I am not the most technically savvy person. I tell people that. I don't know why they don't believe me. But okay, what is the poll? We're gonna ask, is the case
Okay.
gonna make it to trial?
Will Tyler make it to trial?
Yeah, but that could mean different things.
I know it could, but let's start. I mean, hey, it is the title of your stream, isn't it?
I think did I put case in or no?
Will Tyler make it to trial?
Just yes, no. I'll add an I don't know.
I mean, and I don't know is a cop out.
Listen, you know what? Sometimes it's the right thing to do. All right. We'll start the poll. Oh, I'm gonna hide it. I'm not gonna put it on the screen yet. We'll wait.
Okay, so that way people, wait a little bit while the results start to come in so people aren't influenced. Kind of like on actual voting day, that that way people don't know how everyone is really voting.
Now, while everybody is voting on the poll, let me ask you, what do you think about Baron Coleman's statements the other day saying that he believes that Candace Owens is going to get sued and that there is a lawsuit getting prepared against her? Kelly, did
Oh,
I
I'm
lose
sorry.
you?
I was typing. I thought you were asking the chat to weigh in first. So I did not see the episode. Could you give us a little bit more context in who does he believe will be suing Candace and under what context?
Well, you know what? I think I have the clip here because I was covering it yesterday. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Which one was it? I know it was one of these. I think it was.
Okay, people are saying that they do not see the poll.
That they don't see the poll? No way.
Yep.
What'd I do wrong?
Maybe you do have to
Does it
display
have
it.
to be showed?
And then you have it. Let's just make sure you have it live also, I guess.
I think that it's just for the stage. What did I do wrong? Oh no.
Okay. Now did you click in it and vote?
No.
Okay. So somebody was able to do it. Oh, all right.
Was that nosy that commented that they don't see it? Messing with me again?
I'm curious who's able to get into the poll and who's not. This is a brand new feature that I think StreamYard it's just the service that we use to stream to you guys. And so, yeah, it's brand new this week, I think. And so it'll be interesting to see how this works.
All right. While they're doing this, let's pull this on the screen.
That's all it is. And they don't even mention it in their doctrinal statement. Yahweh will bring the Jewish people back to their homeland in order to purify and to bless them. One day they will say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of Yahweh. There's a billionaire who runs this church. You know how many members they have? I think they have like 15 or 20 members. It's a very small church. Their preacher, their head guy for a long time was Ferris Wilks. He was the money behind it, and he was the preacher. He's now one of their elders. But I mean, in a church that small, they know who, they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. So this is who he is. This is what he believes. This is where he invests his money. And he invests it in places like Ted Cruz, Rob McCoy, PragerU, Daily Wire. They all have one thing in common, and it's not America. It's not Jesus Christ. It's our greatest ally. That's the common thread among those four entities and individuals. They say they have a strict literal interpretation of the Bible as historically and scientifically accurate in every detail. They follow the Saturday Sabbath observance. Stop in the name of God. That was Charlie Cook's last book. Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home, tossing the phone. Saturday Sabbath observance. They follow, this church does, Old Testament dietary laws, meaning it's the old kosher rules. No shellfish, no pork, no blood in the meat.
Kelly, I don't know what happened, but the people in my chat said that they were not able to see the poll, so I set up a second one. I set up one in my personal chat.
Okay. I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, do the same, and then that'll make it interesting too. We'll see
okay,
if we get different results.
They celebrate the Jewish feasts, this church does, at the appointed times. They reject Gentile holidays like Christmas, Easter, Halloween. Those are entirely not Jewish enough for this Christian church. They use sacred names, like they don't say God, they say Yahweh. And of course, women must keep silent during worship service and follow modest dress codes. That's them, not me. I'm not telling you guys to be quiet. They're telling you to be quiet. And I believe Caleb Robinson came out of this movement. I think that's the connection. I think the connection to Caleb Robinson, the Wilkes brothers, the Daily Wire, and now ADF, now the Alliance Defending Freedom, I think is this guy. I think this is where they came. They had board turnover. They're doubling in size, i.e. they're being taken to the next level. And here's my ringer. I'm being told behind the scenes This is the group who is going to sue Candace Owens, or at least finance the lawsuit of Candace Owens. I know she's aware of it. We've talked about it. This is the group, I believe, who will sue Candace Owens. And to that, I say shame on them. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing she's ever said has anything to do with the Alliance Defending Freedom. And if they're just doing it for money, when you exchange your services for money, you're just a prostitute for the cause. That's all you are.
Shots fired by Baron Coleman. So are you familiar with the, what is it called? The
Let's
Alliance
do a little
Defending
dive.
Freedom?
ADF. Yep. Alliance Defending Freedom. Let's do a little deep dive. I'm sure everyone would love, or a lot of folks in the chat would love a little education.
I figured you had done the research into it.
I don't want to assume anything, and I'm still trying to set up. I'm slow too when it comes to tech. You know, I'm getting up there in age, so it takes me a little longer these days.
Oh, stop! You're not that old. Oh wow, my chat is like, what is it? 58-42. How come oh, there we go. Yeah, 58 say no, he will not make it, and 42 say yes. That's in the 3 minutes that I had that up. I think he's definitely going to make it. I can't see him not making it, to be honest. I think that they want this trial to happen. It's too good of a distraction from the other issues. I don't think Trump's going to let anything happen to Tyler Robinson and this trial. There's no way, especially after the press conference that Melania had yesterday and the story behind that. Did you hear the story behind that?
Well, okay, what is the story that you're hearing? Because I was looking a little, I had started looking into it, but I've got a couple of things cooking that have me distracted otherwise. So admittedly, I just thought it was interesting that she made this very awkward show of face. Okay, I'm going to say this. Like, how is she not able to speak more clearly at this point? And I don't know, as the first lady after all this, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say that because I struggle. I have a very difficult time like understanding her a lot of times.
I mean, that happens. That happens, though. I know people that have been in the country for 25 years that you can still barely understand them. Like that's
I don't know, man. She's got access to like the more. She has more resources than any, than the 1%, right? Like if she wanted to, she could, but I don't think she really wants to. I think she'd rather be quiet. I think she would rather be, or Trump would rather her stay quiet. Actually, that's the truth of the matter. I think Trump would rather her stay quiet.
But I don't know. I don't think that her accent and really has much to do with the issue or the story. It definitely has nothing to do with the story itself. I mean,
no, I'm just saying that it's to me, it's symbolic of her inability to communicate how maybe she truly feels. That's what I'm trying to get at. To me, when I look at that woman, I see that there is more underneath the surface. And while I'm initially caught up, like trying to decipher and determine what she's saying, I can see in her face that there's a lot more that we're also not hearing. That's my personal.
But that's always the case. It doesn't matter whether she has an accent, whether she has perfect English, whether she speaks Chinese. All these people, they're never telling us the whole truth. They're never giving us the whole story.
I'm telling you, it's a layer on top of a layer. That's my perception.
Yeah,
as a woman.
Okay, I understand that idea. Oh, here we go. We got Danks in the building.
What up, bro?
He made it. You're just in time.
Sorry, I was late. I was walking 40 bags, a pregnant wife, and a kid up 14 floors. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, what a nice guy.
You know, she
What
said,
a
"You're a man.
nice
You can
guy.
do this."
Got to put your big boy pants on. Thanks.
Did my stream go through? Is it working? Yeah.
You look
okay.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were streaming the whole time, buddy.
Good.
Not
What's
even
up,
here. You
everybody?
got the most followers,
Hey.
most viewers.
So
Man.
weird when people say I have followers. It's like I'm not Jesus Christ. I promise. All right, what do we got here? All right, cool. What's up, everybody? We got 200 people on YouTube. We got streams going on X. What's up, people? All right, yeah. Sorry. So, what's up? What are we talking about?
We pivoted the conversation a little bit. We started first by asking everybody if they thought that Tyler Robinson was going to make it to trial, and then I said that I think he definitely will. That between what's going on with the war and with the files, and now especially after Melania Trump's bombshell press conference yesterday, that there is no way in hell that Trump is going to let this trial not happen, because it's a very, very massive and big story that's going to keep people's attention off of the other stuff. It's like the movie Wag the Dog, but
Yeah,
kind of
I think-
reverse. But kind of reverse. Instead of staging a war to hide a scandal, you want to have the scandal to distract from the war.
I think it all distracts from the files. I was listening to Jim
Yeah.
Brewer on the drive, and
He's the best. He's the
man,
best.
and he's like, he played a clip. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It was of Trump saying so many times central casting. Have you seen that clip?
No, but I know what you're talking about him talking about central casting. He says that
Yeah.
he says that a
He's-
My boy, shout out to Jason Scoop. My boy, not my boy, someone we grew up in the same town together. He was actually my sister's friend. He's a famous Trump impersonator, and he uses that line a lot, saying straight out of central casting. Like, I've heard it more from him than Trump himself.
Yeah, central
if you
casting.
guys
He's
don't
saying
know-
like,
Yeah, Chad, if you don't know who Jason Scoop is, I'm sure a lot of you do, but if you don't, check him out. He is hysterical.
yeah, he's basically saying like I don't know what the reason is. Like maybe it's just because he's got so much some media experience, and so he's just like relating everybody to central casting, which is actually a company founded in 1925 that's responsible for all of the casting in high elite media. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, if we like whoever CIA or whatever, it was some clip or I don't know. He was talking about. He's like, if we ever do a movie in the CIA, he'll be the head of the CIA. He's like straight out of central casting. But the way he says it so frequently, it's like, are they just pulling these people from central casting because they act like actors and then they're bad actors? Like Cash is like the worst actor. So I don't know if that's like uncentral casting or like downtown New York City casting.
You know what I was thinking about yesterday? Because last night while I was live, I was covering a clip from the that CBS town hall meeting that Erica had back in December, and I was thinking about it, especially since they had Hunter Kozak as one of the people asking the questions. That we know that all those questions were prepared and that all those people there were likely actors. How many of the people at the town hall meeting do you think were at the scene at UVU the day that Charlie Kirk was killed?
How many people of what were at the scene?
I'm saying because if like there was clearly some sort of intelligence operation going on that day. Like how many people were there? They said there was 3,000 people there.
It's what they claimed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of the 3,000 people that were allegedly there, how many?
Allegedly there.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, look, nobody was sitting there with a clicker or counter, and there was no single point of entry. There were no bag checks. Nobody was scanning tickets. So really, honestly, nobody knows. I've wondered that thing. It's kind of like how Donald Trump, would counter estimate his massive crowds too, right? Like, how are you guys actually determining the size of this crowd? But yes, allegedly.
I put a poll in the chat. I said, how many of you think, what did I say? I said, do you think the UVU event was a show or fake? So why don't we go with Kelly? What do you think?
Wait, hold on. Do I think that it was which question?
Fake.
Because Bays
You
had a
think that? Do
question
you
and then
think
Danks
that?
had a question.
Okay, when I say a show, what I mean is that whether Charlie is dead or alive, do you think that either Charlie knew or didn't? Doesn't matter. That he's dead, right? So even if it was real and he was killed, or if he wasn't killed and it was fake, do you think that everything around him was a show?
Yes. 2 hands up.
I think that I mean that's what I was talking about when I said the CBS town hall meeting, like how many of them you think were there at the scene the day of. I think, maybe the people in the back, like I'm sure that there was at least a large percentage of that crowd that were like people that were just legitimately there to watch. But I mean, those first 10 rows, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like Hunter Kozak, I feel like he might have been placed and they wanted him specifically to ask those specific questions. The whole thing with him, the footage of him where he's like doing the Home Alone thing, like before he went up, and then that happens to be the same reaction that he makes after Charlie's, what happened to him. That's just weird. Like that is, it's just like the shirt. It's a big anomaly that needs to be explained.
Yeah, might have been placed. How about most? I mean, in my opinion, definitely placed.
Well, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna play another clip real quick. Now that I get to be, as Danks like to call it, the dictator.
Well, I did want to say before you dictate away that
Here we go.
Has anybody looked to see at previous events, the larger ones, how many people had their phones out while Charlie was speaking compared to how many clips we have of the UVU event? Because that'd be a very interesting comparison. Because I would imagine there's a lot more video footage. There should be.
So here's one thing to take into consideration. I have looked, okay, and it's kind of hit or miss. And, they were only a question and a half into the event, right? So keep that in mind. And it's not like this was a concert.
Or a person.
Okay?
There was the second person, no? So multiple questions in.
I mean, yeah, sorry. So, I mean, when I say question and a half, like person and a half into the event. Yeah. So, it wasn't like there's that, it hadn't gone on for all that long. But again, it's not like a concert when somebody comes on and your favorite opening song is getting played, then the next one's a banger, and then or you're trying to record the whole thing raw. Like, there's not going to be as many of those. And frankly, like, how many of these have y'all seen? How small the UVU TPUSA chapter was? It was small. It was only like, I don't know, maybe under 20 kids. So I think that we have at this point romanticized this idea of how large Charlie was in everyone's life everywhere, and it just simply wasn't the case. But to your point, you see people sporadically holding their phones. Now, in the couple of events afterward, so I want to say like 1 or 2 events, maybe directly afterward, there was one that was at Ole Miss, and I remember looking at I don't remember if they streamed it live or looking at the video right after they'd posted it. I didn't see a kid in the whole arena. They held it inside in the whole arena with a phone up. And I thought, are they making all these kids check their phones? Like, before they could enter? And maybe they were at the time. I never really looked into it any further than that, but that's my 2 cents.
It's funny you mentioned the phones. I didn't really think about it in terms of the event itself. that they didn't all have their phones out. I just felt like they would have had like all the footage that has come out. Like you've seen, and we've talked about this in the past, how there are certain people, you know, like Frank Turek was just sitting there with his phone out the whole time. And I thought that maybe he was recording Rick Cutler. There was also somebody that was like right behind Hunter Kozak that had their phone out. Like there's like certain people were getting certain shots and had their phones out that I believe could have been, you know, recording some of the footage that we've seen circulate. And it's, what is the probability that that footage, that those people that were taking that footage and that footage that's come out, that we've all been analyzing, trying to figure this out, that those were people that were placed there to take those specific shots? You understand? Like when we see all the different footage of Rick Cutler like this and Dan Flood doing the hand signals and Frank Turek with the hat, like if this was a psyop, there's a very good chance that they had people in place, not just doing those signals and doing what they did, but other people in place that were there to record it and put it out and muddy the water. And again, that goes to whether Charlie was killed or whether it was staged.
Do you mind if I share something real quick? Is that okay?
Sure.
Real
But real quick,
sorry.
real quick
After
before
you're
you do,
done,
yeah,
you go
this
do your
this
thing,
is a
and then I
very
want to show something.
this is a very short video. It's just because, you know, I always say it too. I'll be like, in my opinion, and Kelly said it before, but you know, I've been, you know, preparing for this trial and doing my homework. One of the things that I did was I started studying other cases. And not so much for this trial, but after what Barron had said that they were going to sue Candace Owens. So I started doing like research. I covered this on the live yesterday. Danks, I know you watched it. I don't think Kelly got to it yet. But I went over some of the stuff that Candace had said and Barron has said and what the probabilities are, whether they could get sued for it, and also some cases to get referenced. I just want to pull this up real quick because I found this one to be very interesting.
Can you be sued for sharing your opinion? What if that opinion is about someone else's reputation? Let's take a look at a U.S. Supreme Court case that shaped how courts view defamation. Milkovich v. Lorraine Journal Co. In 1990, the U.S. Supreme Court heard a case involving high school wrestling coach John Milkovich and a local newspaper, the Lorraine Journal. The Journal had published an article accusing Milkovich of lying during a public hearing about a fight that occurred at a wrestling match. Specifically, the article stated, quote, "Anyone who attended the meet knows in his heart that Milkovich lied at the hearing," unquote. Milkovich then sued the newspaper for defamation. Lower courts considered the context of this statement, the fact that it was written in an opinion column, and the use of vague language, and ultimately ruled that the statements were opinion, meaning they're protected by free speech. However, the case made it all the way to the Supreme Court, where the justices ruled that just because a statement is framed as opinion, the speaker isn't automatically protected from liability for defamation. In other words, if the underlying meaning of an opinion implies false facts, it could be defamatory. For example, consider the statement, "In my opinion, John is a liar." Although this is framed as an opinion, it might imply the speaker has knowledge of something that would lead them to conclude that John is a liar. And if that is proven to be false, the speaker could be liable for defamation. Milkovich v. Lorraine Journal Co. was an important case in clarifying that opinions implying false facts may still be defamatory. Today,
now, I just want to point out what she's saying. It says that it could be defamatory, that they could be found liable.
Right.
It kind of opens up Pandora's box a little bit. It doesn't.
Good. Sorry. I want to say there's got to be a lot of context to that, because if it appears that there's a lot of things out of place to where it could be lying, then of course, then you should be able to have your right to that opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So, I mean, as a result, you would typically have to take into consideration everything that's led up to that point. If there's so many things out of character of being the truth, then anybody, and also if you could even take a poll, and if multiple people agree, we could all take a poll in this chat and say, is everybody lying? And I bet you we get like over 50% yes, right? So like, where does the guideline, the boundaries start or finish?
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna pull up one more for reference, and then we'll get to the thing, because there's another case too. What was it? Was it Sullivan versus here? Let me just pull it real quick, because I'm starting to look at different cases to like learn more about the law. I think that's pretty important, and then it could also help us, get a better understanding of where things are going to go. Oh no, did I X out of this one? You know what?
Shout out to Daisy with the super chat. What's up, Daisy?
Yeah.
Pull that out. Yeah, Daisy. 50 for Danks camera fund.
I got a pretty bad. I got a camera, but I didn't want to. It was a last minute thing, and I was like, "This is a $4,000 laptop. Hopefully, the camera's good enough." But damn, I guess not. Thanks, Daisy.
Yeah,
big
Daisy
love, big love too.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's awesome.
you.
She took care of me too. She hit me off with a super too for during my premiere that I did before this.
Hey, I gotta say, Daisy, you guys, you and Baron, and obviously, I know there's a whole bunch of people. You guys are doing great work. Obviously, see, I've been following the work again. I stepped away from the case just because there's so many other things. But as we see the Tyler Robinson case now starting to take effect, and also what Baron and you and the rest of this, the high IQ outfit has pulled out, I mean, this is mandatory to be covered. And I think in more reasons than one, when we look at if we don't say anything, or if we decide to just not cover it, and Baron is the only one and Candace is the only one, that's, they have a loud voice. But I think that if everything is a lie, and if it's our opinion or not, then we need as many voices as possible. Because I said on my last stream, if it could happen to Tyler, and if whether or not he did or did, it doesn't matter. Like, if everything is out of place, we need as many voices speaking out as possible. So we demand the truth. The less voices, like even small channels, small X accounts, small tech, like once the conversation is out and we apply enough pressure, then ultimately they're gonna, I mean, I don't know. We've never seen something like this before, right? But my hope is to at least get the all God's honest truth, not Fed slop, not lies, not deceit, right? So I encourage anybody out there, like myself, you know, I love to talk about all kinds of things, from AI to trading to this stuff to crypto. But when the light is shining bright on the faults of the people that are trying to cause harm to American citizens, you must never forget it could happen to you too. And you would want voices out there speaking as a fellow American, right? Because that's kind of what we do. Like when Trump put out that post saying like graduate college or they failed, I made a post immediately and I said, those people are what make Americans. Failing and getting back up no matter what somebody says about you. Not graduating college like me and making something out of yourself. Or like Bill Gates, unfortunately, you know, the bat's dark side has obviously taken, in my opinion, whatever. But lots of great things can be had out of those people that are being made a mockery of. And I believe the people that he made a mockery of, 90% of the country is that. And those are the people that we all have to hold each other's backs, because when we aren't holding each other's backs, that's when the evil wins. And we have to hold evil accountable to the best we can, you know. And I feel a responsibility. I think Baze does. That's why we're here, you know. And Baron obviously doing you know, we're doing the work of that we should, you know. Sorry, I'm rambling. It bothers me, you know.
Yeah, it's great. And little things add up over time. And it's like, if they can pull a fast one this time, if they can pull a fast one the next time, they get a little bit more every time. And I look at my kids and I think, you know, I can't stand for this today because I don't want it to impact them in the future.
Yeah, our kids also depend on it. We have a 7-year-old or 6.5-year-old. We have another one on the way. Once, like I was listening to somebody, I forget who it was, but they were saying, if we were to, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a psychologist. I was actually talking to my psychologist. So he's also a friend.
My friend.
But it's like it's funny because I don't see him anymore, you know, everything's fine or whatever. But he hits me up because he knows I like politics. He's like, yo, I got 2 hours at 4. You want to come by and chat? So we just sit there and shoot the breeze about politics and religion, and his wife is a religious scholar. And so we talk a lot, and he's saying, if you were to go back to 1950 and you were to tell them how your freedom looks today, they would tell us that we have no freedom. You know, so imagine another 50 to 75 years.
100%. I was saying last night, actually, because you know, I was playing a bunch of different clips, and one of the clips that I played, they were saying that they need to reevaluate the First Amendment for freedom of speech, like how it gets used. Like she's trying to like try to change the interpretation. And I said, like, okay, well, you know, if we're going to do that, if you want to start trying to reinterpret the Constitution for how it is today, as opposed to 250 years ago, why don't we start with the Fourth Amendment? For for privacy and illegal search and seizure. Like, what do you think the founding fathers would say if they knew what was happening to our data right now, and all these different terms and conditions on all these apps that we use, and how the CIA is able to turn the speaker in your TV into a microphone and listen to what's going on in your house, and how they're able to basically spy? Like I was saying yesterday, like, I don't mean to be crude, but like, you could literally be scrolling on your phone while you're in the bathroom taking a shit, and you could have a Mossad agent on the other end watching you, and you would never know. And that that recording is getting saved. It's getting stored in the NSA or wherever they're putting it these days. And it is there forever. And when you look at the databases that they're building, you know, they got databases that are using more energy than the state of Texas. And everyone's like, well, what do they need all that for? And it's for us. It's for us. It's so that they could watch us, they could spy on us, they could store it all, they could profile us. And what are they doing with that data? And should they have even had the right to have it?
Share my screen real quick, bro.
Yeah, of course.
So this right here, if you're not familiar with it, is the annotated Constitution. It is not complicated, okay? It doesn't like, in our minds, we think about the Declaration of Independence and all these people signing and cursive and all that. But this is literally the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. So we are a secular country, but we recognize God, right? So prohibiting the free exercise thereof, though, right? Which means we have the freedom to exercise religion, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, which is, what is it when you get out and protesting?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So then I had Claude give me a full explanation. All right. So it says, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. This prohibits the government from creating or endorsing an official state religion. The founders had fresh memory of the Church of England, where the crown and the church were one entity. And if you dissented from that church, you dissented from the state. They wanted a hard wall between those two systems. The government cannot fund, favor, or institutionalize any religion. This is why public school-led prayer is unconstitutional, why a courthouse can't hang the 10 Commandments as an official government document, and why Congress can't pass a law saying American is a Christian nation. How many people in the chat put a S for speech in the chat if you think any or all of these have been broken just in the year of 2026 by the Congress, by that White House, and the administration. Number 2, the free exercise clause, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This is the flip side of clause 1. The government can't establish a religion and can't stop you from practicing yours. Your belief is completely protected. Now, when they pass a law saying Jesus Christ is king is anti-Semitism, what are they doing? They are inhibiting our right to the freedom of exercising our religious cause. No? So here's another one as a clear example. And then the courts have drawn a line here. If a law is neutral and generally applicable, this case remains controversial, but it is the current standard. Freedom of speech, and this is the big one. Abridging means to shorten, curtail, or restrict. So Congress cannot even restrict speech. But the courts have spent 200 plus years defining what speech actually means and whether all speech gets the same protection. The honest answer, not all speech is equal under the law. Fully protected speech is the default. Political speech, artistic expression, satire, unpopular opinions, even offensive speech. The court has consistently held that the remedy for bad speech is more speech, not enforced silence. Less protected or unprotected speech includes things like true threats, incitement to imminent lawless action, defamation, says less protected or unprotected speech, defamation, false statements or fact that damage reputation, obscenity, and fraud. These carve-outs exist because the harm is direct. So the critical insight most people miss is the First Amendment only restricts the government. A private company firing you for what you say is not a First Amendment issue. So, like I've said before, people say freedom of speech, this and that. Well, on YouTube, we do not have freedom of speech. And I acknowledge that because it is a private corporation. And I have no problem with YouTube doing whatever they want to do because this is their business.
But hold on. What about the theories that some of these social media companies and some of the, some of these entities that we have, Facebook is an example, were actually created by DARPA or was some type of military project, and that they put it out in the private sector to avoid these types of issues so that they can maintain control and profit off of it?
Well, do we have proof of that?
No, I was going to say that's theories that I've seen around. It's not something that there's actually anything really to that I know of or that I believe it. But I mean, it's a theory and it would make sense. It would make sense that if it, because think about it, the government is always trying to get more control. That much we know. And I think that there should be platforms like, like YouTube, like Facebook, where it is like the Wild West, where you have true freedom of speech. Like people should have access to that type of platform so that, because right now, the way that it stands, a lot of times you end up getting censorship where they're really just censoring people that are trying to tell the truth, and they're trying to do so in the name of, accusing people of hate speech or acting like it's dangerous rhetoric. And not for nothing, but we saw the same thing happen during COVID. During COVID, when you had a lot of objective thinkers that were questioning the narrative, especially on YouTube, they were getting shut down. And the mainstream media was going around calling people dangerous. I remember Howard Stern saying, screw your rights. We got to tell people that you have to get vaccinated, or that you won't get treated. You won't get admitted to a hospital. You had scumbags like Don Lemon and all these different news anchors saying that the unvaccinated were dangerous, that they were the problem. And regular Americans that ended up being right, like the real thinkers, the critical thinkers, the objective thinkers, they did not have a place to go where they could voice their opinion and they could communicate with each other.
This right here, because I said, am I considered press? And calling someone a liar. Okay, so are you press? And is calling someone a liar defamation? Two great questions. The short answer, are you legally considered press? Yes. And the legal reasoning behind that is more solid than most people realize. The First Amendment does not define who counts as press. There's no license, no credentials office, no government registry you have to sign up with. The founders wrote it that way deliberately. At the time, the press referred to anyone operating a printing press, which was the open source distribution technology of the era. The Supreme Court has never drawn a clean line saying these people are press and these people are not. And that ambiguity actually works in your favor. The controlling framework comes from cases like Brandsburg and Hayes and subsequent circuit court decisions. If you are engaged in the systematic gathering and dissemination of information to a public audience, you are exercising press freedom. What matters is what you're doing, not what your business card says. Your situation maps directly onto that framework. You are producing investigative content on matters of clear public concern, citing primary source documents. The fact that your distribution channel is YouTube rather than a newspaper printing plant is constitutionally irrelevant. Courts have increasingly recognized this, and the trend is firmly in the direction of extending press protections to independent digital journalists. Now,
hold on. Before you go any further, if that's the case, then shouldn't it be illegal for companies like YouTube to deplatform somebody and pull the plug on their stream? I'm
No,
being
because
serious.
it's no, it's different because it's
You could
it's a
get fired for saying something incorrectly at the New York Press or whatever it was.
But I think companies like YouTube and all these platforms should be held accountable when they censor people for the wrong reasons. If somebody's not giving real hate speech, if they're not threatening somebody, if they're not purposefully giving some type of dangerous misinformation, and they pull the plug on them, and it's believed that it's because of some kind of political agenda, they should be held accountable.
Well, then that's on you as the individual, I would say, the person who has, received the reprimand unfairly, right? Then to fight back, to do something about it. That goes with so many different scenarios. And most of the time, people are like, oh, I'm just happy to have my channel back. I'm just going to keep my head down and keep moving forward. And that's why, real true change and accountability doesn't happen per se.
Yeah, I mean, they gave me my channel back and I just went twice as hard with more clips and more videos. I just said, fuck it, But it's because I know what I'm speaking of is fact. Now, if they take me out for speaking documented fact from documents from the government website, that's, I'm not going to back down speaking. Like, I have a couple of friends, not Jesse is like, he toes the line, right? Jesse on Fire, you all know him. And we talk a lot about this, and he's concerned for me because I am constantly sticking the needle at the administration with documents that could actually disrupt the system. I'm building websites that can disrupt the system. However, he also sees it as super important. He just hopes my voice doesn't get cut off. There's other people that also feel the same way, and majority of YouTubers that have been doing this for many years, they all recommend I pull back, but I haven't. And I think that if people do, I just feel like I feel personally that if I get pulled from the air, it's actually going to work in my favor anyways. So I'm not too worried about it because I don't have a huge following yet. But personally, I'm not of the caliber to stop speaking truth when truth is so detrimental in the context that I'm talking about it, because the White House's family owns a company that the chief strategy officer is a foreign agent for Israel. And I find that a very big problem. There's now like going through the First Amendment and realizing that they are literally doing things against our like they are going to take away our rights. They already have. They've inhibited freedom of speech to the point where now people can't even say a particular country, name, or religion without being slandered or taken off the air or fear of. You shouldn't even have fear of speaking about a country. Could you imagine having another country have to censor their calling America or American or the United States? How would you make you feel? You know what I mean? So,
well, I mean, I say it all the time. Just go on X and look at Laura Loomer's posts and imagine if anybody said that type of stuff and flip everything every time she says Muslim, Islam, just change it to a different religion. Change it to a different country.
She literally said like all kinds of stuff, bro. Like that.
Said like this is a consistent basis.
What she
said
like
a lifestyle for her.
I want Tucker to know that I'm the one that took a knife and stabbed him with like. When the cards fall, Trump is not going to be there for her, dude. Like that's something that she needs to understand. Even if he's fucking her, he's not going to be there for her. Right? So it doesn't like. That's how stupid.
Yo, real quick. Shout out to Stormy Daniels.
Shout out to Stormy Daniels. But I'm just saying that
and
what's funny? Did you notice?
What's her name?
Did you notice that Trump derangement syndrome has changed? It flipped. It used to be people that hated Trump. Now it's people that are obsessed with Trump.
Yeah, people that love Trump. Yeah.
Did you notice that?
It's so true. Yo, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. For like 10 years. For 10 years, I would catch hell from people on the internet because I stuck up for Trump and that I wanted to hold the Democrats accountable. And then in the past year, the amount of people that call me a leftist, call me a libtard, like say all this crazy stuff and accuse me of being a Democrat. It's like, it's hysterical. I'm like, actually, I'm a conservative. And like, no, you're not. You're a liar. You have TDS. Oh, no, no. It's like, no. I'm actually a conservative. Like, I'm just like more of a centralist. Like, I'm an objective conservative. You know what I mean? Like, and they just don't understand it. It's like they are riding this to the end. They are so far gone. Like their heads in the, it's, I don't even know. It's insane.
This right here says, if you are doing good faith investigative journalism, citing primary sources, or stating your honest findings and conclusions, you are about as far away from malice as legally possible. You are doing the opposite of acting with reckless disregard for truth when you're building a case with documents and obvious conclusions.
Well, that's what I said yesterday about, like, even with Candace, like when it comes to Barron, I'm like, good luck. I'm like, if your plan is to try to sue Barron Coleman and you want to try to accuse him of malice and defamation, good luck. And even with Candace, there was some clips that I pulled up where it's like, listen, like it's never going to happen. Like people forget. It's so funny how quick people forget because hold on, I'm like looking for this specific clip.
I got a clip that
hold on, let me show this real quick. Because people forget, like right now, everyone's looking at like, oh, Bride of Charlie and all the stuff that Candace is saying about Erica Kirk. But they forget about how she was, back in like November, back in October, when all this in September, when this stuff first happened. Watch this clip. Look at the way she talks about Erica.
All right, you guys, happy Monday. Erica Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I felt my energy personally, like last night going into that, I was effectively like soaring in the air above the convention center, like a dragon above, waiting for Erica to just be like, fire. And I was just going to come down and swoop in out of nowhere. All the politicians, all the fake people, everyone was just going to be in that moment toast. But she didn't call for war. Erica did not call for war. In fact, she did the exact opposite, which is what was so stunning. It's unbelievable. The forgiveness that she granted, the strength that it took for her to call for that forgiveness. It's just unmatched, and it really made a difference. And I was being serious when I tweeted that I think it was the most consequential speech in American history, a message that everyone needed to hear, including myself, a message of complete submission to Christ. And by the way, later on, we're also going to discuss another kind of submission to Christ, which is submitting yourself to truth. Kash Patel has now come out.
But you see, my point is, when this case first started, Candace was going out of her way to speak highly of Erica. I have another clip here where people were starting to call out Erica and like recognize things that they thought were shady. And Candace is like, no. Like, listen, like Candace, like she's CEO, like she's not handling the emails. Like if you get a weird email where they're asking for money, like she probably doesn't even know it was sent. Like Candace for months was defending Erica. So even trying to build a case right now and saying that the stuff she's doing now is based on malice when this entire investigation, and it's like when I say this investigation, I don't just mean hers. I mean Barron's, I mean Kelly's, yours, mine, Nate's, anybody who's been covering this. It's all these different investigations that all kind of converge into one giant investigation that we all just have different perceptions of what we're really investigating, what it all really means. But it's all been transparent. It's all been public. Like anybody right now, any opinions that they have, any conclusions that they've come to, none of it's coming from a place of malice. Because let's face it, 7 months ago, 99% of us didn't even know who the fuck Erica Kirk was or care. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So
a big amount of people didn't know who Charlie was or Turning Point USA either.
Yeah, I mean, I knew who Charlie was. I didn't
But
like Turning Point USA. I didn't.
A lot of people didn't know as the facts.
So now, for all those people out there, with everything we know in these files, and that hotel in France where Erica was drinking tea, and another individual I'm not going to name was known for drinking tea. And everything else we know about the weirdo stuff that goes on with the people wearing the goat masks and shit. You know, for all those people out there that thinks that Erica Kirk might have gotten tossed around at a couple of Eyes Wide Shut parties, we're all saying that based on factual evidence, not malice. Just saying.
Hey, we just got Julian Dory for our space next week. What's
Oh,
up?
nice.
Shout out to Julian Dory. Yeah, sorry. I just got a text from Elizabeth Lane. So we're doing a space on Thursdays at 8:30 Eastern. Elizabeth Lane, me, Jesse on Fire, and Eric. And then we will be hosting with guests. So next week, it looks like Julian Dory, and then I think JP Spears is going to join us. John Kiriakou is the following week, and I think we're going to have Alex Jones with him as well. So check me out, follow on X, on Space, on X, Dankster Intel, so you can stay in tune with the live streams. But share my screen. I wanted to show you, show this and give a comparison.
Okay, and then it's my turn because I want to show something too.
Okay.
So this is a baseball coach giving third base signals.
Say the elbow is the steal, okay? So the hat is the indicator, elbow is the steal. So if we're going through our signs, this means nothing. Even though I touch my elbow, I never touch my hat. So I have to touch my hat beforehand to make it a steal, right? So I went there, I went hat, elbow, right? So now we know that we're trying to steal.
Look at how he does.
Elbow is a steal. So if we're going through our signs, this means nothing. Even though I touch my elbow.
And then here's another one right here where he's showing the face.
They don't trust the pitcher's selection of pitches during the game. There's a few things that coaches can do to relay the signs to the catcher so that he can give them to the pitcher without anybody knowing. A lot of coaches like to use face signs for this. They're typically sitting on a bucket by the dugout or in the dugout, and they're giving face signs to the catcher, okay? Now, you could do that. You can work out some kind of way to tell the catcher what's coming, or you could use a different tactic. What we used in college was we actually had a charter sitting right next to us, and the charter's head was the actual signal of the pitch. This was the signal of the location of the pitch for the coach. So the coach would be doing all this. This didn't mean anything, actually. He was just going through random stuff. This was all fake stuff. His hand was the location of the pitch. This would be middle. This would be inside to a righty. This would be outside to a righty, inside to a lefty. And the guy charting right next to him, his head would be the actual pitch. So if it was fastball, he'd be looking straight this way. If it was curveball, he'd be looking down. If it was changeup, he'd be looking.
See, and then if we come back here and we look at Dan Flood, we'll go like 75%. And you see he moves his arm. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look like something that they would have done, right? That looks like a baseball move to me. I played baseball for like 15 years. These types of things, they come natural for people like me when I see it. And then when you look at this right here, the way he touches his glasses and he moves, these are the types of things that I look for when you're trying to be secretive and do things. You know, I don't have the full clip where it shows other things. I think there was another couple of motions, but I wanted to show that and let people know, like, these things could easily happen and be done. And if we're not crazy to think that, right? So don't, like, there's a high chance that they use these signals. Charlie may have known, may have not known.
Well, no, they definitely use those signals. I want to play Kelly's clip real quick, and then I will pull something up that I want to show that will come back to the one that you just showed.
Well, no, I hate to do that. I was still back on the freedom of speech thing. I was just
No.
Let's
Pull it back. Let's pull it back. Pull it back.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
Okay.
Please go ahead.
I was just going to tell you guys about this time that I actually got sued by the state of Colorado.
Really?
Now, yeah.
You
And
never told me this
so,
story.
oh no, I hadn't told anybody this story around here.
This
but,
is exclusive.
Exclusive. Yeah, it was so this is actually the order. This is the ruling from the judge. And the funny thing is that the judge actually effed it up because he put plaintiff as me and defendant as the state of Colorado. I mean, I guess you could kind of sort of interpret that, but it was actually the Colorado Attorney General who filed the lawsuit against 7 News in Denver and myself. With me being the named party. Crazy. And so the backstory was that I was literally just filing what you guys would think of as FOIAs. In Colorado, we call them CORAs, Colorado Open Records Act requests. And they were for consumer complaints about a company that was literally ripping people off to the tune of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, their life savings for gold and silver. But so people were sending them this money and they were not delivering on this gold and silver. And like people were literally losing all of their, and a lot of elderly folks, I mean, lost everything. But the AG did not want to release those complaints. So he sued me. I had to get up and be deposed, get up on the witness stand, do the whole thing. I mean, it's just crazy. So these are the kinds of things that the government will do when they want to fight tooth and nail to shut you down. This is the kind of stuff that they will do. It's kind of wild.
It's unfortunate, man. I mean,
and in this case, they were successful. They got a successful ruling from the judge. The judge ultimately determined that it was up to the Attorney General's office whether that he had the discretion if he wanted to release complaints or not, which is crazy. But for the bad news company, it ultimately was not good news for them because they ended up getting popped by the feds.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, look, I don't mess around, okay? Just know when I'm on a case, I'm on a case, okay?
So back when, hold on, let me find this real quick. So back when I first started this channel, I was trying to do it like episodic. I wasn't doing lives. I wasn't doing small, like short videos like I should have been. I was doing these like 1.5, 2-hour deep dives into like everything. And my plan was I was going to do like 2 a week and do like episodes. So the first episode I did was a deep dive into Les Wexner because, like the JE case, that was like, Einstein, that was my big motivation. Like that was where I had spent the most time doing my research and I wanted to expose. And this is before the files were coming out. Then the second episode that I did was on the Charlie Kirk case. And hold on, let me find this right here. And originally I was going to do a deep dive into the Brian Harpole, Sean Ryan interview. And then Valhalla VFT beat me to it. He covered it on a live and he went so deep. He did like a 5-hour live. He did such a good job that I'm like, damn, like I'm not going to try to follow that up. So I had already like prepared for it, like to film it. Like I spent like a couple days, like really going through all the notes. So instead I ended up just covering a couple of different episodes. And I did a little bit of Nate, a little bit of Ian, a little bit of Baron. And I covered the hand signals and Baron covered the hand signals and I gave my commentary on it. But I want you to see this part here.
The Charlie Kirk.
And remember what I said. I've been working on probability models. Oh, here I go, talking about my probability models. I've been running all this through. Multiple models, no.
People, and everybody's freaking out about this footage.
All right. Now this, Danks, you seen this one before? Danks, you there? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I haven't seen this one yet.
Okay, so this footage was from an event a couple of months before whatever happened, that day, where Charlie is doing a reference, and he's saying, I think he's referencing baseball, and he says, players get call signs, and then look what Dan Flood does behind him. This is where it gets good.
Notice the arm grab.
I'm sorry about the audio. I was messing up when I was screen recording. I could pull it up on whatever. It is what it is. We got to deal with it.
Notice he's clearly saying this is a sign.
Every single player is getting different call signs. That is definitionally different.
You know what? Let me just edit this a little. See, guys, I've never been technically savvy. This was my second episode back in December. I don't want to include any more than we need on the screen. In the image. I should re-edit this so we can put it back out without all this. There we go. Much better.
Every single player is getting different call signs. That is definitionally
Oh, look, second he says
different.
it, look.
Mm-hmm.
Every single
got the
player is
grin.
getting call signs. He does the same exact signal, but he's looking in both directions. He's glancing at people.
Team.
So my theory
Oh yeah,
is,
I have
just
seen
telling-
this. I have seen this. Yeah, I
So-
saw
so-
Barron show it actually.
yeah, so my theory was,
They laughed and smiled
day
at it
of-
like they knew it was.
yes,
a,
yes.
yeah.
They says call signs. He does the signal, and he looks it in both directions. He's looking at someone on this side, someone on that side, and he's giving like a wink and a smile. So my theory is, whoever he was looking at that day, he was likely looking at the same two people that were on the other sides. And if there was anybody that was able to corroborate that and identify, you know what I mean, that it could have helped with the case. Let me see. I think I
You right
break
now.
it down. I think I slowed down. Baron, forgive me. I'm sorry for hiding your face.
I want you to pay attention. I'm gonna get a little more context. I want you to pay attention because the next time you see this sign is going to be when I switch web page.
Hold on. Watch this again.
Different call signs. That is definitionally different.
Okay, you see that? You see that? I'm not talking about the motion. I'm talking about something else. I don't know if Baron caught this. Watch again. Wait, how could I slow this down? It's gotta be a way. Yo, this must be driving Danks crazy right now. Oh, speed. Boom. There we Trying go. to figure out the playback.
There we go.
Ha-ha! Watch this. I've come a long way, you know?
Time to find this video.
Sorry, Baron. Sorry, Baron. Where do I gotta go? Here we go.
That is definitionally different. That is definitionally different. Is
The hell was I doing?
Fine.
every single player is
Hey, where are we going? Where are
getting-
we going here?
Shooting. There's going to be somebody in front and somebody to the side, the other side. Now, the day of the shooting, am I just about to say what I already
That
said?
is
I never actually watched this.
definitionally
Boom. He's glancing there. He's glancing there. He could be looking at Rick Cutler.
different.
And now he's looking there. Who is he looking at? That
He
was
did the
basically
same
what I
move.
already
It's the
said.
same move.
It is the same mood. But look,
Of
he's
course.
clearly
Yeah.
looking at two different people. He's looking at two different people. And he's smiling in this picture. There, I always thought he's smiling. No, but he's smiling at two different people while he's doing the signal. Like it's an inside joke because it means something. The security team knows that it means something.
Of
I'm sorry.
course.
I'm sorry that was so dragged out. To be honest,
Yep.
I recorded this back in early December. Like I said, it was my second episode. But you know, he says call signs, and then he does a signal. He's looking that way, looking that way. He's looking at two different people. So there are three people that know that that is a sign and that it means something. And why would it be funny? I believe this specific event happened in May.
Yeah. The part about it being funny is strange to me.
Well, they have their own little, their own little signals, and it's that Charlie. I mean, I guess when you're doing these events day in, day out, you kind of like have your own inside jokes or something, nods to each other, and so maybe they felt like Charlie was giving them some kind of signal for them to do a signal. And you know, I do think that, like, for example, at the beginning, Charlie says something like, I think we're going to be here for about 2 hours, something like that. And you can see at that point, the guys, that's when they start their watches. Like, he makes a reference to a time, and there's another, like, they start a countdown at that point. So there's a lot of little different, they travel together all the time, all over the world. So these guys, you know, they know each other. They knew what they were doing.
Put another poll. Do you think Dan Flood was doing signals?
No, we know he was doing signals.
You don't know that.
Video,
you can't say that. You can't.
Of course you can. Of course you can. Listen, they could take me for a defamation. Charlie Kirk is literally saying players get call signs, and his response is to look at two different people and go like that. The same exact motion that was done right before Charlie was killed. Of course, it's a signal.
Yeah.
And the fact that Brian and listen, not only did Brian Harpole say that they don't do signals, I could pull that clip up now too. I'll find exactly where it is in the transcript so that we don't gotta like sit there and play around with it. But Brian Harpole said in that Sean Ryan interview that they do not use hand signals. He put that on the record. He said they don't use them for that type of for like a bubble like that. He's like, if I was going to do a hand signal and I started going like this, they'd be like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? He's like, I would. And then he starts like pulling out props. He had like a light. He's like, I do this, like two people. You know, he kind of looked like a restaurant manager, like, or someone at a diner that's like about
like
to
a bouncer. Bouncer.
Yeah, it's insane. But not only did he say that they don't use hand signals, but Sean Ryan was trying to point out, and I swear, I wish I could talk to Sean Ryan and ask him, because at one point, Brian's on camera. The camera is behind Sean Ryan, but you see what looks like Sean doing like this, but from behind, not facing him. Like you see, like, you know, and then Brian Harpole points to him and he goes, see that's a definitive signal. And Sean Ryan is literally doing the signal, trying to say, well, I mean, it's got to mean something, because I think that's what Sean was trying to say. Sean was trying to bring up the Dan Flood signal and try to like put a meaning behind it, and it totally went over Brian Harpole's head. Hold on, let me find this. You guys give me a second.
It's so funny. Like, we are so absorbed into this. I bet if I brought my sister in here and asked her, I haven't seen her in a while. I wonder what she knows about all this, if anything, you know.
You guys would be amazed when I need a breath of fresh air and I ask my 10-year-old, man, he hits the nail on the head every time. He just sees it for what it is. It's very much worth it to just ask a fresh set of eyes.
Here, fresh set of eyes. Now this video, this was episode 16, so I'd gotten a little bit better since that other one that we watched. But here, check this out.
We're looking at in the front in our area of responsibility. If we needed to.
Okay, so Sean Ryan was saying that he used hand signals every time. That's how you do the job. That's how it gets done. Brian Harpole, the head of security, says, yeah, when we do sniper detail, we use the signals. But when we're doing security for Charlie Kirk, we don't use hand signals. Like, no, we're looking at the crowd. We're protecting the danger. We're looking everywhere except for the one particular spot where the alleged shooter was, but they're not using hand signals. We'll see how that matches up with the footage in a little bit.
To relay a message, then we would, hey, right here on comms. And or we're notorious for, if I need to get somebody's attention on the team, I'm not going to sit there and use a hand signal if he's in my line of sight. I'm just going to go like that. He's going to look up and I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. And so.
Yeah, he's so full of shit. Now he's pulling out props. I'm going to pull out. Brian Harpole, we don't do hand signals.
For that, that's not good communication. It has to be definitive. It has to be necessary.
It could be an acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yep. Receive.
Get me out of here.
Watch.
Yep. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. And what you're doing.
See? Now pay attention. It's off camera, but Sean Ryan just did something and Brian Harpole's identifying. He said, no, see what you did right there is definitive, right? And watch what Brian Harpole does.
And there's deliberate.
See? Now, it doesn't show Sean Ryan doing it, but Sean Ryan did it. I think he did it off camera.
It could be an acknowledgement.
I think when Sean Ryan says it could be an acknowledgement, he's talking about Dan Flood's signal, and it's going over Brian Harpole's head.
Yep. Receive.
Get me out of here.
Yep. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. And what you're doing there is deliberate.
See? Now, it doesn't show Sean Ryan doing it, but you see how Brian Harpole says what you're doing there is deliberate, meaning that he's copying what Sean Ryan just did. And Brian Harpole saying that's a deliberate hand signal, which could mean that, if Dan Flood was doing a hand signal, that Brian Harpole is saying, like, he's kind of saying that he didn't know that it, right? Because how would that make sense?
I don't know who's talking, the video or you.
It's me.
Yeah, I'm getting so
You're wearing the
tripped
same
out.
shirt.
I can't
You're
tell.
on
I'm
two
in
sides.
2 dimensions.
Sorry. No, but you see Brian Harpole right now. He's doing the Dan Flood hand signal because Sean Ryan just did it, saying it could mean an acknowledgement. And Brian Harpole is saying what you're doing right there, that's a deliberate hand signal. We don't do that. But clearly Dan Flood did. And clearly the other people on the detail knew that it was a hand signal from the footage that we just watched. Like, how does that make sense?
I mean, you don't even have to be in security to know that a hand signal can be a hand signal, right? I mean, you can just be a friend who's, trying to signal to somebody, hey, all right, I'm going to tip my hat down when it's time to make a run for it. Like, whatever. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that when you got something planned, you got something planned. But to Danks's point, that sweep is something that is super common in baseball, for example.
But my point is in this interview, Brian Harpole was trying to say that the security detail does not use hand signals for what they call the bubble, protecting Charlie Kirk.
Of course he's lying.
But
he's
then
lying
when
his teeth the whole time.
Think about it. Why would he tell this lie? He had to have seen the footage of Dan Flood doing this. Is this Brian Harpole's way of playing dumb and saying, like, look, well, my point is he saying this because he knew that they were using hand signals and he's trying to put on the record, we don't use hand signals. Like, yeah, that's a hand signal, but we don't use that, even though we know that Dan Flood did. Is he covering his own ass right now?
Of course. I don't even know that we can count on our fingers and our toes the number of CYA lies that,
I know, but Kelly, for a second, forget about the other lies for a second. Just think about this one. So I want you guys to really think about this because I think that this means something. I think that this was really overlooked. I think Brian Harpole was telling us something here and we weren't listening. Because
he's making the signal right there. Look.
He's making the signal. He's telling Sean Ryan, this is a definitive hand signal. This would mean something, but we don't do that. We don't do that as a part of my detail. But we know that Dan Flood did. and at least 2 other people knew what it meant. And Brian Harpole is saying on the record, we don't do that. That's not a part of my detail.
So you're saying he's trying to distance himself
Yes.
from Dan
Yes.
Flood?
Yes.
Okay.
And
that
how
you
and
have
how
not
long?
specifically said yet?
because it didn't hit me right away. It didn't hit me.
Are they not part of the same
that's your
team?
headline.
Well, my question is, how long after this interview and the other interview that he did with that other jerk off that, you know, whatever, did Brian Harpole stop working for TPUSA?
Can we be sued for calling people jagoffs?
No.
Jagoff. Brian
I
Harpole's a
wasn't
jagoff.
specific. No, I wasn't talking about Brian Harpole. I said someone that interviewed him. I'm sure a lot of people have interviewed him.
Well, I'm saying it.
Okay.
Brian Harpole, no. The only 2 interviews that he has done have been with, I mean, post the UVU event, have been with, of course, we'll say friendlies.
Kelly, we gotta spell everything out for
With Gary. I am. I will. Don't worry. I'm. That's why I'm setting it up.
Are you
with
trying to say
friendlies.
that I was saying that Gary Melton's a jerk off?
No, I was saying they were friendlies, meaning people who are friendly to Fed Slop, aka Gary Melton, Paramount Tactical, and
My
Sean
point is,
Ryan
look,
show.
someone in the chat just said it, that Brian Harpole was fired. When was Brian Harpole fired?
Okay, hold on. Though, here's the thing, guys. You have to remember, you are basing that information off of what Candace has told you. Do any of you have evidence specifically that Brian Harpole was fired? Have any of you talked to Brian? Have any of you
Talking about the interview that Brian Harpole did right here, where he's declaring this on the record as a signal, saying that this is he's calling this a definitive hand signal. And he's saying that he is head of security. He says on his team, they do not use hand signals. And as we just going over the other footage of Dan Flood, we could determine that Dan Flood was doing hand signals. Now, Brian Harpole is saying on the record that, look, we don't use hand signals. If we used hand signals, we would do this. He's pulling out flashlights. He's pointing fingers. But he's saying that that's what I would do. And then Sean Ryan is saying, well, you know, like maybe this means something, like get me out of here, you know. And then Brian Harpole points it out when Sean Ryan does this. Brian Harpole points it out and says that's a definitive hand signal. Is this going over everybody's hat? Chat, do you guys understand what I'm saying right now?
I get it. I just think I think that it looks like it. I think that right now there's more of a concern now at this point. It's not more of a concern. It all adds together that Tyler Robinson. I'm more concerned now about the slandering of Tyler Robinson when he just wanted to have invoke his 5th and 6th Amendment, and the entire media, the feds, the governor, and everybody said he wasn't cooperating. Why turn yourself in and not cooperate? That makes no sense. Why there's even a video of Governor Cox saying he's not willing to turn himself in, but everybody else around him is cooperating. What kind of shit is that, right? You got everybody around you like, just go turn yourself, and you're like, bro, I didn't do it. Like, I'm not gonna do that. It's like, just go in there so they don't come and shoot our house up. And it's like,
we'll get back to this. I'll take it off the screen.
Hey,
for now.
there have been some supers, Baze, if you could hit those up too.
Yeah, sure. All right. We'll do the supers real quick and then we'll get back to it. All right. So Gina P said, question, just because prosecution is calling Tyler Robinson's parents does not mean meaning Tyler's parents, want to testify for the prosecution, correct? That's a question. And I believe that to be true.
I don't think it matters. They can be a subpoena. They don't have a choice.
But she's implying that the media, like some of the people that I was covering yesterday, you know, like the Salem media type people are making it a point to tell the world, like, look, Tyler Robinson's parents are testifying for the prosecution. It's like, no, but to answer your question, like, yes,
you
they
testify
get
for both.
The prosecution could be the one that called for the subpoena. and that
Yeah.
it's getting spun in a way to make it look like, oh yeah, we can't wait to testify to get our son
I can
the death
explain
penalty
this.
for Megyn Kelly. You know what I
I-
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Right.
The way that
people
this
are
can be
retarded.
explained, and you said it last night, you said it is of the responsibility for the prosecution to actually convict Tyler. If it was any, like, the defense wouldn't call anybody. They call, like, if it came down to it, they would sit back there and let the prosecution do everything or nothing, right? So if the prosecution called no witnesses, neither would the defense. See what I'm saying? So it is up to the prosecution to subpoena every single person that they want in-house to interview or on the stand or whatnot. Otherwise, because that's how it works. The prosecution is trying to persecute somebody. So as a result, it is their requirement to bring in everybody that they want to ask questions. And since they're doing that, the defense has their chance to ask also. It's a two-way system. So because the prosecution is bringing in their parents, whether they want to or not, they get the opportunity to interview for both sides. And the thing is, the reason, that you're leading on to that as well is that they're not there. There's a whole thing here. I read it. I mentioned it in my last live stream. There was a case where this was used as a precedent where they invoked a right. I forget. It was like 1973 or something like that. They invoked a right, or maybe it was 92. They invoked a right or whatever it was. I forget now. My head's so. But everyone came out and said their intention was this when they were pure intented. They just wanted, like in Tyler's case, all he wanted to do is not say anything. And they used that and spread it to the media. Like, he's not, like, how stupid do they have to be? They told everyone he surrendered and he said he did it in Discord text. Then when he comes in and says he wants to invoke his rights, they come out and say he's not cooperating. It's like,
yeah, right.
They're literally just screaming at the camera and microphone to get everyone to side with them, and it's not cool.
You know what I saw? Who's that other jerk off? He's like a big time Trump supporter. What's his name? Is it Patrick Doherty or Eric Doherty? What's his name? Something Doherty. I don't know. I'll find it. Is it Eric Doherty? Yeah, I think it's Eric Doherty. He posted a video of Tyler Robinson whispering to his attorney in the courtroom, and he put a text on it trying to claim that Tyler Robinson was saying that he had the shot to kill, or I think he was implying it. I think he like he was maybe quoting what was in the Discord chat, like the text messages or whatever, saying like, I had the opportunity to kill Charlie Kirk and I took it, and he put it in quotes with the video of him whispering to his attorney. And I'm like, yo, how is that not defamation? How is that not defamation? Because in my eyes, he's implying.
No, that wasn't whispering. Those were lips. They were trying to read the lips.
No, but I think what Baze is trying to say is that it was used out of context.
Yes.
Baze, are you saying that this was just used this week? So that video or whatever
They're
would
showing
have been
him whispering. They
from
don't know
months
what they're
ago.
saying. Yeah,
And they're literally saying, I had,
And
whatever it is.
They're using like the information from like it's a recent post from maybe
to make
a
it
couple
look
of
like
days
he's
ago,
getting caught saying
to make
that.
it look like
Why
and so
would
it's
you-
very much out of context.
Yeah, very, very much out of context.
Yeah, very much. And then that news station or whoever put it out, was it Fox maybe? They
Bro, I'm sure.
I
These
think
Well, it was-
that story got squashed within 48 hours. People stopped talking about it.
I'm sure. Hold on, let me go to the next super first.
Where's the trash can?
Oh, we did that. Daisy, the 50 that she gave you. We got K Breach do an episode on Snowden. Yeah, I might do that one day.
I've done an episode on Snowden.
Oh yeah, I'll find it. I'll send it to K Breach. And then Roger Lane gifted Kelly 10 memberships. Always appreciate that.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you.
And then Dale gifting Real Bays 5 memberships. Thank you very much. Then we got a $20 super sticker to Amber.
What's
Farrell.
up? Thanks, Amber. Appreciate you.
And then we got Kay Breach again. I really want to know where all these securities are today. That's a good question.
Very good question.
Well,
I mean, if we could put together a list of things, I have a contact I could reach out to and ask some questions.
Oh, do you now? Yeah, hold on. I want to find this video now because this was actually crazy when I saw this. I wonder if he took it down. I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably still there somewhere. Whatever. Do you guys have anything in the queue you wanted me to pull up?
Thank you, Scruff.
Yeah, I got something for us. Why don't we shift modes a little bit?
Whatever you guys want. And yo, it's so funny. We were just talking the other day about how like we were going to be analytical. See, we haven't even really been talking to Kelly. She's been doing her own thing this week. But me and Danks were saying that like Saturday was going to be like the fun day and that we were going to be more serious the rest of the week and be like analytical and do our work. You know, because Saturday we do the bedtime stories. Now I'm telling him he's got to turn the lights off and do the flashlight. He's like, bro, that was a one-time deal. I'm like, the hell it was a one-time deal. And Kelly, I don't even no, that was when American Discourse was with us. Kelly didn't even get to see you do that.
Well,
yeah, because y'all did it on a not Saturday night.
Yo,
Yeah.
I did a 2-hour Wednesday show, and then I pulled American Discourse to the stage for what I thought was going to be a little while, and we ended up doing another 2 hours. And then after that, right when I'm about to shut it down, Danks is like, send me the link. So then we did another 2 hours. So we were on there for 6 hours.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this yet?
I didn't. I've been meaning to.
So good.
That was really him with Alex Jones, right?
Yeah. He was on and he went on InfoWars with Alex Jones, sit down and did a show with him. Yeah. Man, I'm excited. Elizabeth Lane's been texting me while we were here. That's why I was distracted. But yeah, next week, man. So make sure you come and check us out. We're going to be doing a weekly show. We'll be bringing on special guests. So next week, so me, Elizabeth, Jesse, and here I'll show you Eric. Let me see. Love you too, baby.
Oh, how cute.
Eric, I want to show their accounts. So where's the account here? So you guys know who they are. Where is it? Where is that post? Oh, here it is. So Ethan Levins, I kept calling him Eric. Ethan Levins, and then if you don't know Elizabeth Lane, that's sorry. Here, let me bring it over here. Elizabeth Lane, and then Ethan Levins is this dude right here. I don't know if you guys have seen him before. And then Julian Dory, if you don't know who Julian Dory is. This is Julian Dory. You guys might have seen his podcast before. He'll be with us next week. But the regulars is me, Ethan, Elizabeth, and then Jesse on Fire. So this will be at Thursdays at 8:30 EST. And then I think JP Spears, so I sent him a DM, and so he should get back to me tonight or tomorrow for next week. And then the following week, she just confirmed with me John Kiriakou, and I think Alex Jones. I'm not sure about the second one, but all right. So let's show this.
Do you do IQ test here?
Yep, that's what we do.
Okay, because I think I need one.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Why do you need one?
Well, I've had some people lately telling me I have a low IQ.
Ooh, shots fired. God. Who's been telling you that?
Well, some people online have been telling me that, like the president, and even my dogs are looking at me a little bit condescendingly now.
Well, we'll find out. So with this IQ test, I'll just ask you a series of simple, really common sense questions, and you just give me your best answer.
I'm actually kind of a little bit nervous right now.
Oh, yeah, you should be, because if you turn out to be what some would call a low IQ nut job, then you're pretty much a lost cause.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
All right, first question. Which word doesn't belong? Apple, banana, carrot, orange.
Is it carrot?
Very good, because it's not a fruit and all. It's clever. Next question. Who would be considered more of a traitor to their country? Person A, who receives $230 million from a foreign lobby, or person B, who receives $0 from a foreign lobby?
I mean, clearly person A.
Wrong.
Come on, that's got to be correct.
Next, hypothetical question. If a country has a major shipping waterway that you want to have open, and it's currently open, but they'll close it if you go to war, what would be a smart way to ensure that waterway stays open?
You don't go to war with them.
No, not even close. I mean, common sense would say go to war with that country and stay at war with that country as a way of putting pressure on them to reopen it after they've closed it because you went to war with them.
Are you playing with a full deck?
I don't play cards, but thanks for asking. Oh, and this is a good one. If you had the desire to take down an international pedophile ring, what would be the best way to follow through on that desire?
Well, you launch a full investigation using every means necessary, and you prosecute those bastards the fullest extent of the law.
Wrong. No. You would launch an effort to prevent any investigations and prosecutions.
That can't be right.
Well, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
These questions are kind of weird.
Oh, I assure you, these are standardized IQ test questions, sir. Next question. Here's this.
You guys get it, right? Because Trump called him like low IQ.
Scenario. You got a person, they work for America and America only. What country does that person work for?
America?
That's incorrect. They work for
Benihana's.
He said Iran. I don't know why he said Iran. He should have said, but
Benihana's.
Next question. Who's more beautiful as a woman? France's First Lady, or maybe man, or Candace Owens?
Candace Owens?
No.
Have you seen France's First Lady?
I would totally do her. If she had an OnlyFans, I would subscribe. Any reasonable man would. Okay. How would
I thought he was gonna say I would totally do her if she had a vagina.
Oh, that'd be a good one, bro. That'd be good.
would you describe what America first means?
Putting America's interests first above any other foreign nation.
No, you're actually describing anti-Semitism.
That got me the best. That was I texted him and I was like, bro, that is the line right there. That was hilarious, bro. I can't even believe that is so funny, bro.
If she had an OnlyFans,
America's interest,
man would. Okay, how would you describe what America first means?
Putting America's interests first above any other foreign nation.
No, you're actually describing anti-Semitism. Yuck. Okay, last question.
Yuck. He said yuck.
What year did we first land on the moon?
We've never been to the moon.
No, we've been to the moon. We go all the time. Well, your test is complete. I've never seen a score like this before.
What'd I get?
You got an IQ of 65.
Is that high?
No, that's a very low IQ.
My life is literally ruined. He was right.
Who was right?
Just don't worry about that now. My big question is, what am I going to do with my life now that I've learned that I am so stupid?
Well, just remember, you're also a nut job. But yeah, you're pretty screwed. Really, the only option I can give low IQ people such as yourself is to go off and open a Somali daycare.
I am completely.
Open a Somali daycare, bro.
Oh my god.
Or you can start making pro-Trump posts and make $7K a pop.
Yeah, bro, that's hilarious, dude. The guy is he's doing great work. I have a couple of bookmarks here. This one right here, I told you about this, right? So Tim Pool, he comes out and he says, after reading all the replies to my tweets, I have come to realize that I have been wrong about everything. Trump is demotic and a mad king. I should have seen it sooner. Israel has been controlling everything the whole time. I was blind. I apologize and hope that moving forward you will still consider reposting me on X and buying my coffee.
Yo, that guy is such a loser.
What a freaking loser, bro. I actually posted it and then I turned it off because I was like, I'm not even gonna give the guy the credit because like I should screenshot it and maybe post it, but it's just like you're gonna come out and say an apology for the money. You know what I mean? It's just
I cannot with him.
Delusion, you know.
He's so gross.
He's so ridiculous, bro. Look at this freaking kid, bro.
Yo.
He hasn't taken a new picture since
Listen,
1989.
You want to see my favorite Tim Pool video?
See it.
Guys, chat. How many hip hop heads do we have in the chat? We got any like real hip hop heads, like underground hip hop heads?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how underground you're going. I am from Houston.
The man,
how we
the man is a
roll.
legend. The man is a legend. R.A. the Rugged Man. Shout out to him. It's actually funny because I actually met him in the streets once in Manhattan back in like 2005, and I had no idea who he was. And I was actually rapping. Like I was like out and about, like doing my thing with mixtapes and stuff. And this guy, he came up to me, like telling me that he was producing a movie. It was going to be like a little like indie movie that he was making. And I talked to him a couple times about doing the audition, like we exchanged numbers and whatnot. And it wasn't until years later that like I found out who he was, that he was a rapper. But this guy a couple years back was on the Tim Dillon show. Not Tim Dillon. What's his name? Tim Pool, the little guy. And yo, this is just too good. This is too good.
I want to explain something in a little more detail that we were talking about the show that I think did get fleshed out enough. So, and I'll preface it by saying I do not believe I face more discrimination than Black people in this country.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is one of the difficulties in my life is people who grow up in a white suburb. Everybody's white. I go there, I'm not white.
I don't believe that.
Well, so you're wrong, but let me
I
explain.
don't believe that. I think somebody might. You just said on the last show that like some people mistake you for Mexican. That was your biggest.
I'm not saying that I've got a boot on my neck. I'm saying you need to understand.
It gets so much better. Watch.
People who have
redneck area. If we go up to the truck stop up the block, nobody's looking at you like, get that guy. You know,
I didn't say they were.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you put somebody else in there, they're looking at you funny. You're good. You're good. You go to the airport, they're not pulling you over because they
No. That's bullshit.
They pull you over?
Yes.
Because you look like what?
Yes,
look
motherfucker.
What do you look like?
I get randomly flagged every fucking time I go to the airport. See,
because what reason?
The fuck if I know?
Because you look like what?
Fuck if I know, dude.
You really heard.
Because I get fucking every single time I go. And
Tim Pool is like trying to like act like he gets discriminated against. Like that's the point of this. He's trying and R.A. the Rugged Man telling like, yo, like, you know, like whatever your heritage is, like, you know, you look like a white boy. Like you're good. Like, don't worry. Like they're not like gonna come at you like they would a minority. And he's like trying to act like a tough guy. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I go to the airport. And he's like getting laughed at right now. But keep watching. You guys never saw this?
No, but maybe people just avoid him because he's just negative energy.
Watch this. And this is one of the many reasons why R.A. the legend, the Rugged Man is a legend.
And you are a racist dude who says I couldn't possibly understand every fucking time I go to the airport. I'm randomly screened.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the
every
beanie.
time. Every time.
It's the beanie.
Every time.
Oh.
I go to the UK, they put 4 S's.
What are you screaming for?
I'm screaming because
what?
When
you're hurt that you're a white boy?
I'm hurt because you're a racist
Yeah, there you go.
and you have this arrogance and elitism that you know better than everybody, that you're the white savior, that you got to be in the struggle for the poor brown people.
No,
and
I
then
didn't say
every
that. I didn't say
fucking
that.
time.
When I
No,
watch
bro,
your
no,
show-
listen to what I have to
I'm
say.
not gonna listen
When
to
I
nothing.
say
No,
something like,
lower your
when I'm
voice
being
first,
polite,
bitch.
when I'm
Lower
being
your
polite to you,
lower your voice
when
first.
I'm
You
being
talk
polite
like
to
a
you,
motherfucking human.
when I'm being polite to you, and then I say I deal with this problem, and then you laugh at me, dude.
Yeah, I laugh sometimes.
You're a racist.
Yeah, no, it's not racist.
Yes,
We're
it is,
talking
dude.
about systematic racism in America. And then you go, my struggle is this, to discredit the struggle of the black man and the black woman. That's what you
I literally
do.
just said
But
they have
every
it
time
worse
we
than I
talk-
do. I
but
literally
we-
just said
yeah,
they have it worse than I do.
that was the facade.
You're just
that
bro.
was the facade to not take away
Facade?
From the yes, it was like
admitting out.
And keep in mind, this was 4 years ago. And like, who is he doing shows and stuff now with? Fucking Steven Crowder. Like, just saying. All right, we're gonna finish it now. I won't interrupt. This is where it gets really good.
Right, saying straight up, bro.
And your Jesse Smollett Hulk.
I cannot handle
made up
him.
this whole
Please,
story
dude.
about white supremacists coming to your house and saying, "Oh, the mixed couple," and throwing racist pamphlets at you, and you made up a whole Jesse Smollett thing. You know,
I've been
and that's the takeaway from the struggle.
He made up another Jesse Smollett thing with saying that is.
No, you're a
generalization,
racist
remember?
prick. Here's my hour-long documentary about the black struggle in Ferguson.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Oh, great. $100,000 budget. James Baldwin interviews with people on the ground to talk about what they've been through, and you have the nerve to come up to me and tell me my experiences don't matter when I'm fighting the fight.
Screaming, bitch! Stop screaming. Talk to me like I'm because I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
Talk
you are.
normal.
You
I'm not
are.
that
You
guy.
actually are, dude. You are that
No,
guy.
I'm talking about I'm not that guy. To fucking scream at, bitch.
Oh shit.
All right.
Fucking screaming at, bitch.
Let's calm down.
You think you can?
I'm not that guy. You don't disrespect me, bitch.
What did you do to me? Did you disrespect me?
Now you start raising
Did
your
you?
voice to me like
Tim's
that.
not yelling anymore.
Did you laugh?
He
At me?
looks scared.
He is.
Did you disrespect me? I was nice to you, bro. I was being nice.
I was nice to you, bro. I was being nice.
You raised your voice to me.
You raised your
Bro,
voice to me
I said
first.
I respected you.
You wouldn't shut
I
the fuck up with
appreciated
that
you.
raising your voice.
I stopped when you told me to. You said talk.
Yo, I got
voice,
no
so I lowered
respect for
my
Tim
voice.
Pool. This guy's a fucking loser.
I told you I respected you coming. It was a good show. I said I respected you willing to admit when you got things wrong. Bro, I have put so much of my life.
sounds like he's gonna
into
cry.
This.
Listen,
Listen,
listen.
I watch your video.
You
I
see
already
this
wa-
thing's wrong. Bro, I have put so much of my life into this. Look at this.
I watch your videos.
You
I
see
already
this?
watched your video. No, I see your videos.
You don't. You don't.
No,
You
I
see
see
what-
your
you
video.
see
Yeah,
the
you're
hate.
gonna say,
You
look,
see the
this is the non-racist thing. But
The
meanwhile, you
non-racist
have
thing.
Okay,
videos
I think this is
promoting Derek Chauvin and acting like he was in the right. You have videos of that. You have videos
We
of the other
disagree
guy.
on some
You have
things.
videos of the other. You have videos of the other guy.
Two guys.
Armory. And you go,
guys.
oh, but they grabbed the pistol, defending them, killing a black man in the streets, and he ran for them and giving excuses.
guys.
You have these videos, so all of this shit doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
No, of course not.
A decade of work doesn't matter.
No.
But that's who Tim Pool is. That's who Tim Pool is.
What?
Wait.
He's Mexican black.
Yeah, he'll play the he's an opportunist. He's an opportunist with the big mouth, and he'll play the victim, and he'll try to put on a show and do this rah-rah. And the second he opens his mouth to the wrong person and that person stands up, it's like, no, bro, but you disrespected me first. No, but it's a misunderstanding. The guy's a bitch.
No, he's like, he runs up and he's like, pop, pop, pop. And then he runs back and then he runs up and then he runs back. I mean, he did that stuff, and I'm not one to defend Candace, but it's like he did that with Candace. He does this with all these little people. And he just, but you've seen the video before with him getting his hat pulled off of his head, his little beanie or whatever. He does not like his dome exposed.
I don't know. I don't watch Tim Pool.
I'm just saying.
I saw him on Rogan.
If there's anything to do, if there's a Achilles heel for that dude, it's the hair. It's the hair.
Well, that's just sad because guys usually aren't like that with the aesthetics.
Mm.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
But yeah, shout out to R.A. the Rugged Man for that. That was
We have a couple supers, I think. From we got a membership for Kelly.
Oh yeah, Scruffmeister.
Scruff.
Thank you, Scruff. Thank
Hey,
you.
Scruff is new around these parts.
Scruff's been around for a minute.
Really? I know they're a member on mine.
Yeah, mine too.
What's up, Christy? Good to see you. Thanks for the super.
Morning Squad, $10.
I love the emoji.
Then we got another one from Christy.
What's up?
For the mods.
Thanks.
Sorry,
For the
I'm broke.
mods. It's all good. Anything you contribute on
Thank
behalf
you,
of the mods,
Christy.
they appreciate. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, throw it up.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go, baby.
Good afternoon.
Throw the
The lies linking me with the disgraceful
quiet.
Jeffrey.
Why is it so quiet? Oh, is it just me?
Epstein.
Is it just you? I hear it.
Hey. The individuals lying about me devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties.
I've never been friends with him. You don't have to be friends with someone to fuck him, right? I mean,
dude, Valhalla crushed this today.
Oh, he did? Does he have a clip of it?
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Yeah, pull it up.
As Epstein from time to time.
Dude, he.
It overlaps.
We'll play it. You want to hear?
I'll put it up right now.
Okay, I don't know what he said, but I have no idea what he said, but I also want to just, while you're pulling it up, say like what I was alluding to earlier, and the chat got it. The chat totally had my back, is that there's a whole lot more behind her voice. It's like, I think the voice is just the initial layer, that it's like she has never been really allowed to speak, and it's for a reason. And so it's like that right there that we saw was the most that they were going to allow her to speak. She very well could be a victim here. So I don't know how much fun he makes of her or whatever. And I'm not saying that she's in the right. She could be running cover. I have no idea, but just keep all of those things in context.
Thank you. But I want to say one thing to the American people.
I never had a relationship with Epstein.
I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
His images and stories.
Can you make it bigger so you pull the?
And I need to go back to work for the American people.
Cinema.
Thank you.
How do I do it?
Push cinema on the screen so it moves all those things to the side.
On StreamYard?
No, right there on the screen where Valhalla's left arm is at. Hover over it.
This thing?
No, the left of it. Theater mode. There you go.
Oh, you mean I could have been doing that the whole time?
Pretty
much. Learn a little something every day.
Why didn't you tell me this? See that, guys? Yesterday I learned how to do polls. Today I got this. We're on a roll. All right, hold on.
Right. We got to level you up if you're going to kick it with the Dankster, bro.
What about the Kelster?
And the Kelster.
He actually breaks down
Hey,
the
Ray
story
in the
of
house.
what happened.
Also not telling her husband that she's going to do it, mind you. Yes, Donald Trump furious about this from what we're hearing. And she just randomly brings up the fact that she never had a relationship with Biggie or Maxwell, and that she is calling for the victims to be able to testify publicly. And again, everybody was going, why would you do this? Well, again, now we know. All right, let's start at the beginning. Now, this is Amanda Ungaro, one of Melania Trump's best friends for over 20 years. She met Melania when she was 18 years old. And this is what she just said on Twitter 2 days ago. Now, Amanda had this to say to Melania and Trump. And keep in mind, this was a day before Melania decided to do that unprompted press conference. She says, "We'll take legal action against you and your pedophile husband." Whoa, uh-oh. I've known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained in ICE. Yeah, we're going to get to that story here in a second.
Who said that?
You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in.
Okay, so this
that?
woman, okay, so this is a woman named Amanda Ungaro. She was allegedly Melania Trump's best friend for 20 years. And Amanda's husband was a mutual friend of Donald Trump and J.E. And now apparently this Amanda woman and her husband got divorced. And then her husband called Trump and had Trump use ICE to deport her, allegedly.
Holy shit.
And then they went and they took the kid and brought the kid back to America, or kept the kid in America, so that they didn't just deport her, but they took her kid away from her. And then when she got out, now she's in Brazil and she's saying that she's going to blow the whistle, and that, yeah, Melania Trump is not clean, and that she's known about all this shit. And Kelly, like, I understand what you're saying, like, oh, she could be a victim, but you know what? Honestly, fuck Melania Trump and fuck anybody else who has known anything and has not spoken up.
I'll tell you what, you have no idea You have no idea, Baze. I'm going to push back on you real hard on that one. You have no idea the pressure that someone could potentially be under. Okay.
No, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Anybody that is known, listen, she came to the country in 1996. Okay. She's known Trump since 1998. She's known about this stuff for a long time. They all knew about this stuff for a long time. So it's, there's
you
no
know that
making excuses for these
definitively.
people.
You know that
There's
definitively
no-
about her.
Do you?
You want to talk about?
Do
You want to talk about libel? No,
Do
that,
you?
no. That I'm not the one. I'm not the one alleging that she does.
I'm saying anybody that's been in that circle, that's been in that sphere, they know more than they're telling. I'm not saying that Melania Trump knows everything, but for her to come out now, and have this, listen, she didn't make this press conference because she cares about the victims. Okay. She used the victims to try to show face because she knew this was coming out. So, like, there's no defending Melania Trump with this. There's no, oh, she's a victim. I'm not letting her play the victim. If that comes out, then I'll apologize later. But for now, fuck her, because she's using the victims to try to save face now. Because she knows that whatever this woman is going to say is going to make her look really bad. Ask the chat. We'll do a poll.
All I know is what I'm seeing in the chat is that people were saying so many things about what they're detecting with her language, with they believe. Anyway, yeah, you go ahead.
She looks scared. She looks scared, but I don't know if it's scared because she's a victim or scared because her best friend of 20 years is about to air out her dirty laundry to the world. And now she's coming out.
Don't know enough.
When Donald Trump
I've been listening for a long time. Okay. I've been real quiet over here. I've been real quiet over here. Okay. I've been listening for the majority of the stream. You know, and I think that she has been sitting back, and you have no idea how minimized this woman is. Okay. I have a feeling that she is quite minimized in her role. And so maybe that's all that she was allowed to do. You think she could just get up there and go rogue? I don't know. Maybe she could. I don't know. But I'm saying it's too early to judge her. I say this is one data point right now, and we keep an eye on it.
But you listen.
You just said fuck her, and that's
I say fuck anyone that didn't speak up sooner. When Donald Trump was saying we're still talking about Epstein, Melania Trump wasn't saying anything publicly about the victims. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying fuck her, because now that the spotlight's about to be on her and her friend who has a real reason to have a vendetta, and that she, like, whatever Melania knows that this woman could be saying, she knows is about to come out. And that's why I'm saying fuck her, because when she comes out here at this press conference and says, oh, there was a lot of people involved and, you know, the victims need to be heard, she could have been saying that for years, but she didn't. She's saying it now to save
You think when her husband is Donald J. Trump, she is going to go rogue on him?
If she cared about the victims, she could have leaked something to somebody. Something could have gotten out. It's the same. Listen, it's the same reason why people resent everybody at Turning Point USA. You don't think that there's people at Turning Point USA right now that probably know that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk with the 30-06 and that they're just not saying anything because they're afraid? Like, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about speaking up and doing what's right.
That is the reality of people in life. You're looking at your safety, your family, your life. Like, I mean, it's so much bigger than just one thing, especially when you're dealing with what could be the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. But she could have gotten the information out sooner. This woman,
think about it like this. Hold on. Think about it like this. How is she going to get the information out if she is literally surrounded by all of those people and they went ahead and took out the main loudest voice in all of this, and they already wanted to take out Trump? It would give them an excuse to take them both out before anything, before he ever got second office. Like, if she, like, all this time, you know what had gone by. So also, she's a European woman, right? And these women listen to their husbands and they do what they say. That's just the culture, right? So if she at all was told not to say anything she will have his back till the day he dies, because I mean, we'll see about that, but that's typically how those women are. And also the relationship obviously doesn't look very great, but she's held him down ever since the beginning so far. She's never gone against him at all. But some people say this is her coming out against him ahead of it, and she has nothing to do with it, getting ahead of the ball to keep herself clean. But there's no way, in my opinion, that she could come out and say anything, bro. They would
But
take her head
my
off.
point is,
Yeah.
my
Well,
point
I
is,
tweeted as soon as she came out on Friday, I tweeted, I said, oh, I wonder who has information that's about to come out with a story. Okay. So, just that, thought that crossed my mind alone is like, oh, something is about to come out. That's why she's coming out now. But imagine, if you can, imagine being that one person, okay, and knowing potentially, right, all of these things, and also the potential consequences. How, like, what would potentially her level of protection be? There is no guaranteed level of protection when all of those forces would love to take you out and silence you. That's all. That's all. And I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know that. I'm just saying it's too early to judge the woman and say, F you. That's all.
Play the clip.
In 2016, something was clearly wrong, but I am not part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. Do you know what I think about you after 20 years? And then she says, again, all of these are replying directly to Melania Trump's account. I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I have to do in my life. I will go all the way. I'm not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know of who you are and who your husband is. Whoa. Okay, so whoa, Melania Trump's best friend of over 20 years vowing to burn everything down and expose her pedophile husband. What happened here? Well, this is how this all transpired. So this is Amanda's ex-husband, who just happens to be one of Donald Trump's best friends, going all the way back to running Donald Trump's creepy little teenage beauty pageants with him, which is now looking to be just one big human trafficking operation from what we're seeing. And what he did was he had Donald Trump deport Amanda Ungaro over a custody battle with their son back to Brazil. Yes, Zampoli got his buddy Trump to literally use ICE to deport his ex-wife so that he could then kidnap her child from Brazil, and is actively refusing to return the child. So obviously that she's been deported and had her child kidnapped from her, she doesn't give a shit, and she's willing to tell all and burn the entire thing down. So, ooh, getting spicy. Now, this is a really good video, really explaining this whole thing and how it all transpired.
So yesterday, the First Lady gave a desperate live statement from the White House Grand Foyer. She was visibly shaking as she denied her links to Jeffrey Epstein. Why out of the blue? Because Amanda Ungaro spent 20 years in Melania's inner circle. A woman who was even a UN ambassador is currently threatening to torch the entire administration from an iPhone in Brazil. Amanda Ungaro was there for it all. The Mar-a-Lago New Year's parties, the inauguration, the private UN galas. She was the partner of Paolo Zampoli, the man who literally introduced Donald Trump to Melania. They met when she was just a teenager and he was 32. But when the relationship went south after 2 decades, Zampoli didn't just call a lawyer for custody. He weaponized the full force of the federal government against the woman he called his wife for 19 years to win a custody battle over their American-born teenage son, Giovanni Zampoli. Paolo allegedly coordinated a hit with a high-ranking ICE official named David Venturella and his fellow Kennedy Center board member, Pam Bondi. The result,
Pam.
Amanda was arrested in Miami on a manufactured charge involving a single photo of her hand resting on a laser machine. She was held in ICE detention for 3 months, then deported to Brazil without trial. He kept his seat on the board next to Pam Bondi. He kept his title as presidential special envoy. But then he went too far. A Brazilian court ordered the child returned to his mother, and in total defiance of international law and a direct court order, Paolo Zampoli reportedly snatched the boy from Brazil and fled the country. Amanda has now filed a formal kidnapping complaint. She has nothing left to lose.
So now we're starting to make a little bit more sense for why this bizarre press conference from Melania panicked came out of nowhere. And when we actually look at the timeline here, it's going to start to make a whole lot more sense that Melania, yeah, definitely knew Big E a lot better than she's claiming. All right, real quick, guys, we got to talk about our partners over at Barbell.
Good old partners at Barbell. Oh, we can't hear you.
Mike.
Vote in the poll. Put a poll up in the chat that says, do you think Trump is a PDF file? Yes or no? Vote in the poll in the Danks chat. Share the screen. I want to share another take.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I put up a poll too. I said, why did Melania speak up? Because she cares about the victims or to cover her own ass?
Yeah, the camera looks better now. I got a little light, right?
Well, you had a lot of light before. Before it was you were glowing.
It was behind me, but I didn't have any in front of me. So Jesse takes a little stab at this.
I wanted to propose something to you guys as to what that might be that seems to have so much influence over the.
And what's interesting is they're really good friends, right? Valhalla and Jesse. So it's interesting to see this take. Let me fix my.
Yeah, but friends could disagree, just like me and Kelly.
Yeah, no, of course. That's why I said it's interesting.
Administration from, the group that she's referencing. Okay. Now, first of all, do you know who else is a beautiful woman? Is Melania Trump. Congratulations, Mr. President. Congratulations, Melania Trump. You are a beautiful woman, and I mean that in the most respectful possible way. Also, Brigitte Macron definitely has a P. This is what I was going to say, though, okay? Why did Melania Trump do this yesterday? Why did she come forward and say, out of nowhere, she denies all but casual ties to Epstein and Max? Weird timing, right? All of a sudden, she's coming out and doing this thing, bringing attention back to the files. And I'm like, this is so weird. Why, like, how bad do things have to be for her to be bringing attention back to the files? And that's when it hit me. I'm like, I wonder if what the leverage that they have is something about her, right? Because she knew Epstein, right? Like, like everybody knows, like she knew him. And the rumors around the campfire were that prior to her being with the president, okay? And so what if the first lady is in some kind of extraordinarily compromising situation and they have been holding that over his head? And then him telling her to go out and do this presser, that's him being like, I don't care. Go ahead, play your card. Maybe. You know what I mean? Because the reason why I always knew that they would never release the files is because the second that whatever they have is public, it has.
Smash that like, hit the subscribe button. It'll help us out a lot. I'm recently getting off of being banned from live streaming, so help push this out there, please.
No value anymore. So that might be him being like, your leverage is not leverage anymore. Here you go. Go ahead. Hey, Mo, go ahead. Go give him the press conference. Like, just say, hey, bring it up. Put it right in their face. Maybe. Okay. I'm not saying for sure, but possible. Also possible that you could drastically help my cause if you could very quickly hit subscribe if you haven't yet, or if you think about like how.
So yeah, I mean,
He's so slick with that. He always comes up with.
So the algorithm is changing, right? So he used to do this in the beginning. I suggested throw it in later because the people watching are already gonna subscribe. And I think like now, like what I learned from that, just a side note, I think what I learned from the algorithm is that people want to subscribe after you've delivered. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you ask up front, I think it's a little too soon. But anyways, it's cool to see that he took my advice, and he's that video's got 100,000 views just in 24 hours. So,
That's
but yeah,
great.
I mean, when you see somebody like Melania come out and say these things, it's interesting because there was a poll I heard about. I didn't see it, but I heard that the poll stated, did the war distract from the files, and how much like the percentage, yes or no? And it said yes by like 98.5%. And it was like hundreds of thousands of people voted in this poll. So it's interesting to see her come out and surface this when the entire narrative of the Epstein files has been completely dismantled to the point to where it's barely talked about. It feels like right when the web app from Ian Carroll goes public and everything and starts being used, nobody's even talking about it. We don't see anybody streaming with it, which also, which is interesting, is that they make it so hard. They'd suppress the content, so it's but it's very interesting that she would do this.
What?
So
What do you say that again now? What do you mean that what suppress the content?
I was just throwing in that people aren't talking about it as well because they suppress the Epstein content. If you put in the title or in the description, your videos won't get as many views. They'll get way less compared to any other content. So a lot of YouTubers know that. And so you don't see a lot of the Epstein content because of that. TikTok especially when TikTok was really banning even sending the word in DMs and stuff. That was at the height of it. They've loosened up. I just don't know why they tighten things, then loosen it, and tighten it, and loosen it. It makes it really tough on our end. But one thing for sure, they love Turning Point USA drama. And the person I was talking to at TPUSA, I was telling him that they pay us more to make this content. And he was like, yeah, think about who owns these platforms. They're all leftists and stuff. So they want to suppress anything that destructs the right, and destructs the left, and then amplify anything that destructs the right. And it's kind of true, If you put Trump in the title of something, watch your analytics. Put Epstein in the title of something, watch the analytics. Go look at the videos. Some people, they do well, some don't, but I don't know. It just makes it tough to even talk about this stuff. But the reason why I mentioned Melania and all of this is, why does she bring it up when they've successfully gotten rid of the conversation? And that's really what we have to look at, right? It's because she'd be like, who's promising her anything? If she's getting out in front of it, and her husband, she doesn't go to jail if Trump does, because she has the protection as a wife, right? So if she's a victim, she has no reason to come out and say anything. She wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? She just wouldn't say anything.
Well, can I just interject one moment there? Because there was someone in the chat a little while earlier who, thank you. Sorry, now the name's slipping my mind, who had brought it up. But what she specifically said in her speech was that while she denied any, involvement or being a victim of Epstein's, she was encouraging or demanding, encouraging, empowering all of the victims to make sure that their stories were heard, that they come forward, that their stories be heard and put on the record. And so to me, I see the read between the lines on that as kind of a potential battle cry that, hey guys, I'm not in a position to be able to speak out on this, given all that's all that's around me. But please, this is my way of showing you I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that your stories are heard.
Let's see what she says. Here, share my screen again. Let's actually listen to what she says. I don't know if we've seen so many takes. I'll put the subtitles on. Let's see what she actually says, right?
Me, are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein, or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI in interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island. I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and HarperCollins, UK. Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth.
Shout out to her, bro. She said it doesn't amount to guilt. Innocent until proven guilty. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep,
So,
at least somebody in that administration.
I mean, I haven't even really listened to it. I've just seen hot takes. And she's out here saying, like, we need to actually bust it wide open, bro. Like, let it rip.
I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the Congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
That is a mic drop. That is a mic drop.
It was pretty intense. She's like started off like all innocent and I'm good. I didn't do, and that's all good and well. But she ends up saying like Epstein was not alone and this shit needs to come out. That's what it
And
looks like to
let
me.
the people who can talk have the floor and put their voices on the record for everyone to see, and then do what you will with it.
And it only took her best friend of 20 years to be about to come out and spill her guts out. Who Melania, think about it, if they were really best friends for 20 years and that girl Amanda got deported and got her kid taken away, Melania didn't speak up for her. Her best friend, 20 years, gets deported, loses her kid. She doesn't speak up for her.
How do you
She
know?
doesn't speak up
She
for any of
might
the
have
victims.
spoke up. She might have spoke up behind closed doors.
Well, we know that her friend certainly doesn't think that she spoke up for her. She's saying, how do you think I think what do you think I think about you after 20 years of knowing
Well, let
you?
me ask you this. If her friend, and she even tried to say, hey, like, I'm trying, but that, you know, this is how I have no control. I talked to Donald, I've done this. Like, they're gonna, like, he doesn't want anything to do with you. They're gonna move you, kick you out. I have nothing. That person, their life has been thrown into so much turmoil that they're gonna blame the person closest to that situation.
Listen,
whether or not she tried or not. You see what I'm saying?
I have been studying this Epstein case extensively for a long time before I even started my platform. Okay? And Kelly, you know I love you. We're good friends. Like, if I got a little out for it, it's not directed at you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we'll talk about that later, whatever. But when I hear you refer to Melania saying, hey, she might be a victim, it's like, yo, like, did you study the files? Like, you know what happened to the real victims, the young kids? Like, did you listen to the Skippy video? I know that was the you know, a different thing that wasn't Epstein, but it's all relevant here. Did you see the chair that was on Epstein Island? The kid's dentist chair? What do you think that was for? What do you think the 300?
So
Hold on,
you
hold on,
have
hold on.
evidence
What
that
do you
Melania was
think?
there?
I did not say that at all. When you say that the 330 gallons of sulfuric acid, like, no, what I'm saying is you said, hey, Melania might be a victim, and I think that does a real disservice and disjustice to the real victims, to the children that were trafficked, that were raped, that were killed. Like, those are the victims. Okay, Melania Trump is the first lady. She's lived a life of luxury, married to a billionaire. She's married to the president. So when you referred to her as a victim, she might be a victim. I mean, it kind of sounded like Tim Pool. Like, when Tim Pool, like, tries to say that he's a victim, like, he goes to the airport, he gets checked. Like, that's my pattern recognition kicking in. Like, Melania Trump is about as much of a victim as Tim Pool is at the airport. And listen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more to it. And if there is, I'll tell you guys all that you're right. But my initial interpretation is if Melania really cared about the victims, she wouldn't have waited until she was going to get thrown under the bus by a friend that she didn't speak up for to speak up. I think that the only person that Melania is speaking up for right now is herself and her kid. And I'm not saying Melania is a bad person.
I hope to God that you or anyone that you know are never victimized in the way that people like myself and others that I know have been victimized before, okay?
Yeah, it's not easy for people that have been in that situation.
We can, you know.
No, listen, I understand. I
No,
understand.
you don't. You don't.
It's keeping you from being objective here. It's a different.
I think it's bad. She has a more accurate view of the situation.
I have awards all over my office because of the work that I have done. I've interviewed hundreds of sexual assault victims, okay? And human trafficking survivors. How many have you interviewed?
No, listen, you're right.
No, answer my question.
No, listen, you're right. I'm not arguing with you.
Answer my question. Point. How many have you interviewed?
No,
how many have you actually spoken to?
I'm new to that. I mean, listen, I've spoken to victims and people that have been abused, like, it's, you know,
of sexual assault or human trafficking.
Yes.
Like how many?
Yes.
Like how many?
Off the top of my listen, I'm not in a contest with you. Like, you did this for a living. I'm not trying to compare resumes.
Right. So then
I'm saying I know. I'm just saying I know. I'm not disregarding.
Then
you're
please let me
taking it the wrong
speak.
way.
I allowed you to speak. Please allow me to speak. Okay.
Of course.
I have a very important perspective on this, and I see what I see based on my experience. And so I would really appreciate you not disregarding what I have to say when I see what I see and I hear what I hear and I read between the lines what I say, and I say it is too early to say F you, Melania. That is all.
You're right. I believe you. I'm sorry.
Everyone in the chat was like, "You guys stop," and I was like, "This is good TV. Let it rip."
No,
This is-
that's not what this is. This is real. This is real.
I know. The
And
thing is, it's important to have these
overlooking-
conversations,
I
and
was
that way people
overlooking
can
what
see.
I didn't
the
read between the lines
perspectives.
with Keli right away. Keli, you're right. I'm sorry.
It's
And
not
that's
about me.
that's genuine.
It's
No,
about
that's
all of
genuine.
the people out there, you know? Like
That's
it's
genuine.
just yeah.
You know, I just got upset when you referred to her as a victim because I didn't understand your perspective, like what you saw. And I was just thinking about all the research that I've done with the children, like thinking like, no, the children are the real victims. But I didn't like, how could I see it from your perspective?
These are the ways that you get those perspectives across sometimes, like, you know, when you have somebody like Keli. And sometimes it might not look great, it might feel uncomfortable, but these are conversations that need to be had, whether it's public in front of thousands of people or behind closed doors. I think it's more important to be open air conversation, because that way people get to feel and see the raw emotion behind someone who's been through it and seen hundreds of victims of sex trafficking and molestation and otherwise, you know. So, and also all the way down to the end of their lives, right? And family members thereof. You gotta remember where she's coming from. You know, people like me and you, we haven't had that experience. I haven't. I mean, I have someone very close to me that grew up in a situation, but other than that, I you know, I don't know what that's like. I myself, when I was on drugs and stuff, and I was taken advantage of from, like, nasty old women and shit for money, you know, but I can't imagine what it's like for like creepy old men just like harvesting women and like taking them out of their homes and stuff, and then being in a situation like potentially what Melania could be in. She can't say anything. Like I said before, she can't speak out even if she wanted to, for many, many different reasons. You know what I mean?
But my
And we don't
point is,
have all the information yet. I'm just saying it's too soon to judge. Like this, yeah, it's too soon to judge. That's all I'm saying.
listen, Keli, I will tell you that you are 100% right, that Melania could be a victim and that we don't know what she's going through. We don't know her exact circumstances. And like, you're right. You are right about that. But both things can be true. Okay? Because she could have spoken up at any time. And she chose now, not because she cares about the victims, but because of this thing with Amanda Ungaro. If she was speaking up for the victims, she would have done it at any point. But she's speaking out now because of this Amanda Ungaro thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to disrespect you or say that that you're wrong. Like, you know, I don't know what you see. Like I'm giving you that. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm saying that you're right. That you might have a different sixth sense based on your own experiences that it would just go right over my head. But like I said, both things can be true. And even if that's true, even if she's a victim, she's not speaking up for the victims. The other victims. She's speaking up for herself.
And I respectfully disagree.
Okay, and that's what it is. And listen, if it turns out that you end up being right and more comes out about it, I'm saying, like, listen, we're on an open platform. This is on the internet. Like, I'm gonna, if I gotta eat my words, I eat my words.
This is not about being right. Jesus Christ.
No, it's not about being right.
This should not be about being right. We're discussing an issue. This should not be about right and wrong. In fact, maybe that's what's wrong with this country. That's what's wrong with X. Everybody wanting to debate this and debate that. We're literally discussing and educating people and helping people understand what the news of the week is. I didn't come on here wanting to be right.
No, we're all here because we want to expose the truth. We're just seeing different. We're just seeing it through different lenses right now.
Yeah, a lot of controversy in the chat. They're unsure. You know, a lot of people have been through experiences. These are extreme experiences that men typically don't experience, right? So for us to be able to say exactly how someone is acting based off of, you know, based off of their relation to somebody, it's not fair because we don't know what that's like, right? I personally can't say for sure. All I said and all I can say is that it looked at me like she was holding up more of an American stance than I've seen anybody else on national television at all in the last 12 months. She said out of her own mouth, there are victims, there are men that have committed atrocities that need to be held accountable, but that doesn't make them guilty yet. And that was one of the best things I've heard in a long time, personally.
Exactly.
And I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And what do we hear from Bondi? Oh, we need to be talking about the Dow at 50,000.
Yeah. Well, Bondi is
Not the
just,
files.
she's not even worth talking about because she's actually part of destroying our
if we're
country.
talking about another female, right? That's what we heard. So yeah, at least Melania is saying,
You're right. Yeah.
let's put it out there, get it on the record. Victims, come forward.
Well,
tell your tale if you wish, and do with it what you will, Congress.
The attorney that's coming in the interim, he literally said, we are closing the case on the files, and that's no longer going to be. I'm going to find that clip because it's maybe this is why she said it. New AG, no more Epstein. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Todd Blanche.
Yeah, Todd Blanche. Yeah,
he was the one that negotiated that new deal for Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell got to go to there are people that believe that she might have even gotten released based on the video of the, that other, right? Wasn't the video that they said was her testifying or whatever, and everyone was scanning it trying to say that it wasn't her based on the nose and the voice or whatnot. But regardless of that, she got to go into a minimal security facility and get to do yoga and whatnot. But what came out of that? Like, what came out of that testimony? Like, not a single person got arrested.
Share my screen. There's a super chat if you want to read it first.
Sure.
There's a couple, I think. Underneath for the mods, there's a few. We got like a bunch of them. True Blue Goo, new member.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, True. Christy, thanks for the membership. Good to see you. Thank you. MDJ DM'd me where? Discord? DM'd me. All right. I'll look. What's up? Hey, thanks, Laura. Appreciate you. Say thanks to the gifted memberships if you got them, you guys. They're random, right? So they just go out, and we don't have control of that. So if you got one, every Friday, I do members only live streams with the members, and we cover all kinds of other things that are not pertaining so much to politics, different conspiracy, religion lately. So join us if you're a member for Fridays mornings in Pacific time.
Paul M, new member.
David Wolf. Looks like she may want out of the marriage.
Well, I think she's wanted out of that marriage for a long time. Oh, Christy Hughes. Kelly, I love you.
The love.
Love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
What's up, Measure Man, my guy, bro? What's up? $10 make a holler. I get what she's saying. I think he's talking about you. I get what she's saying. I've done lots of work on missing people and trafficking. It could be my bias. Just yesterday, we struck a nerve or over the target, and bots hit us hard on X. Praying. Yeah, man. I mean, people that are in that business, thanks for the super, are seeing a different side, man. You know, when I see some of these, like Ryan Matta, he covered that story of the kids and stuff. Like that was a heartbreaking documentary, you know. And to see the methodology and the sophistication and the lack of care for just these people, it's sad, you know. So I hate that. But let's see. This is the Todd Blanche thing.
Under Todd Blanche. And that's what this is all about, as Anna's about to show you.
In fact, I mean, Blanche is adamant about engaging in this cover-up. Take a look.
The Epstein files, you'd agree, not handled well? And I don't, first of all, I have never heard President Trump say that the Attorney General that anything that happened to her had anything to do with the Epstein files. And so look, the Epstein files has been a saga that's lasted for the past year. And what happened when the president signed the Transparency Act is the Department of Justice has now released all the files.
They're just in the business of lying out of their freaking mouths, huh?
Respect to the Epstein saga, and they
said saga twice. Sounds like something else we've been talking about as a saga. It's crazy.
Attorney General Bondi and I appeared in front of Congress voluntarily a couple weeks ago to answer any questions they had. We have made every single congressman, senator available to come and see any document, redacted, unredacted, that they want. And so I think that to the extent that the Epstein files was a part of the past year of this Justice Department, it should not be a part of anything going forward.
These people are sick. Just a reminder that the DOJ has only released about 3.5 million pages of records related to Epstein, which is only half of the roughly 6 million documents they initially claimed to have. So we don't have access to 50% of the documents. And here you have Todd Blanche pretending as though they've released everything they can release. Now, Blanche, who, by the way, was also behind transferring Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security facility where she gets to play with puppies as a serial rapist and child groomer, says he doesn't intend to investigate any of the perpetrators in the Epstein files, doesn't intend to help the survivors. Let's take a listen on what he had to say on that.
Is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means. Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know whether there are men out there that abuse these women. If we learn about information and evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will.
That's just crazy, bro. I just can't even believe he acts like the same response as Trump when saying it was a hoax.
Girls, like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. Yeah, shut up, bro. Take your paycheck, get your ass in the office, and just do the
this
bidding.
is and the same folks who claim that Trump has a 98% approval rating or something.
No,
like
he's 100.
that.
They said that he had 100% approval rating with MAGA.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
I mean, how can you believe in or trust anything? We are literally living. Are we in CHINA? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. They're behind it all. I gotta log off, you guys. I gotta cut it from here. But yeah, just remember, all we want is the truth, whether it's the files, Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's assassination. anything really. And I think
Anything
that
in
it's
between.
important.
Yeah.
These conversations are important to have. So just keep your just keep looking for the truth and stay loud, because if we don't stay loud like we are doing right now, they win. You know, look, they're really trying to shut it all the way down. And if we let them do that, and a lot of people say, oh, well, what can we do about it? We can do a lot more. You know, we can do a lot more. Every single one of you could do a lot more. I'm doing as much as I can. You know what I mean? And even there's more that I could do, I'm sure, which I will continue to do. So if you've ever wanted to start a channel, if you've ever wanted to learn how to do that, you can join my community. It's $5. I'm not looking to make money off you guys. All it is to keep the trolls out. I will help you, man. I help create small creators, build channels, and I think everyone needs to have a voice and try to speak about whatever they're passionate about to bring truth. And also, AI is getting really good, and it's going to lay a lot of people off. I think a channel with 1, 2, 3,000 followers is going to be worth a few $1,000 in less than 2 or 3 years, and it'll go up from there. So I would get ahead of the curve. There's a lot of people in the chat with some opinions. 0 through a super if you want to grab that.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hey, bro, thanks for the 50 banger, dude. Dude, you don't have to do that. Man, I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. It's just 0. Mod for the squad says, can we all take 30 seconds and have Danks say a prayer to bring everyone back together and be laser focused on the mission at hand, save this republic. We can all agree on one thing. It's tough for everyone, and let's take a deep breath and let's take a deep breath and be patient. Well, I'll tell you what, we're not separated. We have these conversations. Yeah. I think it's important to note that because the heated conversations are fine. Like, we're all friends here, right? So you have to understand that for sure. But I'll say a prayer. You want me to say a prayer? Let's do it. He paid it for a prayer, right?
Let's go for it.
Paying for prayers. Hey, I'll pray to the Lord for all of us. Don't worry. So, Father, we come before you right now, not as Republicans or Democrats, not as left or right, but as Americans who still believe that our country is worth fighting for. Lord, our minds, please clear them and strip away any noise, any distractions, any hate, fear, destruction, or resentment, and give us patience with each other. Give us the discipline in our mission for searching for the truth, and give us the courage to follow the evidence that you lay before us. Use our platforms as a voice for you and Jesus Christ, and for the victims that have been taken away or harmed in the path of the evil that live before us. Bind us together, Lord, please. We don't have to agree on everything, obviously. That's for the best anyways, because discourse is the best way to the truth. Let us not be divided today, tomorrow. Bring us together each day and stronger. Never be distracted. Keep us focused as we possibly can. And we are grateful. Believe that. Thank you, Jesus Christ, Lord, our Savior. God bless. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Appreciate you guys. Amen. Love you all. Thanks for being around here. Thanks for hanging out, and stay in search of the truth. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.